Today's episode of the One Piece podcast is sponsored by Right Stuf. Check out the latest sales. Even though the holiday sale is over, Right Stuf always has the best anime products at the best price at rightstufanime.com. Check every day for brand new sales. Again, that's rightstufanime.com. Enjoy the show. This is Season 10 of the One Piece Podcast, Episode 451 for the week of Monday, January 9th, 2017. My name is Zach.
And my name is Steve.
On today's show, as always, very special guest translator for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump. We have Stephen Paul with us today. How's it going, Stephen?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm ready to start off 2017 strong.
Good. Also on today's podcast, we have ANN reviewer, One Piece podcast editorial, and anime recap host, Sam Leach is with us. How's it going, Sam?
It's going all right. New year.
New Sam?
No, not new Sam. I was gonna say new Sam, but I'm like, no, I feel like I'm pretty much the same Sam that I was in 2016.
I was gonna say that was a quick transformation there, Sam. We also have, I'm really happy to have this guest on for our first episode of the year. We have, you may know him as Minovsky. His name is Casey, and welcome to the podcast once again. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me. Last year might have been very bad, but One Piece is very, very good.
Sort of a general statement, but yes, it is. Although you're getting a very biased audience when you say that here, we all do think One Piece is very, very good as we begin the 10th season of the One Piece podcast. Before we start the show, I want to mention this is also the 20th anniversary year for One Piece. Big deal. It started back in July 19th, 1997. So, as part of the 20th anniversary festivities, we're going to be having special episodes throughout the year. Including, we'll announce it here, we're going to have our villain slash warlord slash ridiculous villain group countdown.
Slash antagonist.
That's going to be our rankings. We did it a year ago already, for our arcs of consequence, which were our rankings of the story arcs in One Piece. We did it for ending themes and opening themes. So this year we're going to have a lot of different rankings. And we're going to be starting with our villains thing. So it's going to be this big episode or two. So look forward to that. That's going to be coming out later this month, whenever the next chapter break is, which I assume will be later this month. And there's also something very cool going on to celebrate the 20th anniversary, maybe tangentially, and that is that One Piece Film Gold is arriving in North America, and we're going to have meetups this week throughout the country. I don't think we have any Canadian people on this podcast, so I don't think we're going to be organizing any of those, but let's just mention some of the ones we're hosting. I'm going to be at our New York City meetup. That's going to be January 10th at the AMC Empire 25. That's on 42nd Street near Times Square. If you're brave enough to venture out there, I'll be there at around 7 p.m. wearing a One Piece podcast shirt. Probably under several sweatshirts because, the weather, but I'll try and make it as known as possible that it's me. Sam, you're going to be at the Minneapolis meetup.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping to learn that there are, in fact, other One Piece podcast fans in Minnesota.
There's only one way to find out.
Yep.
and that's Sam. You have to go. That's tomorrow, January 10th, if you're listening to this. At 7 p.m. local time there. We also have Steve. You want to tell us a little bit about your meetup?
Yeah, Alex and I will be at the E Street Cinema in Washington, D.C., January 10th for the 7:30 showing. I think that's the only showing.
I forgot to mention, Sam, your meetup is at the AMC Theaters, Arbor Lake 16 in Minneapolis, Maple Grove, Minnesota, to be exact. There's also going to be a Los Angeles meetup. Steven, you're going to be at that.
Yes, I am the one person here in this recording who will be there That is at the Universal City Walk, I believe is the
Yes.
name. That is the one at Universal Studios in Hollywood. I am really excited to do that. It's going to be a little LA vacation day trip thing for me. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you there. Brian will be there. Brian Newton will be there. Jill will be there, and I believe Dennis Ichnob will be there too. So lots of folks from the podcast.
Also, Ed and Rogers Base will be at the Chicago meetup. That is at the AMC River East Theater, also on January 10th at 7 p.m. There's also going to be a Philly meetup. Kelly from our news staff and editorial staff will be there. That's actually in Voorhees Township, New Jersey, so pretty close by to Philly. That's on January 14th. That's Saturday at 1:30 p.m. There's also an Atlanta meetup. Jose will be there and Joey Weiser will be there. That's January 14th, Saturday at 1:30 p.m. And Casey, are you going to go see One Piece Film Gold?
I am going to see One Piece Film Gold. It'll also be the second One Piece movie I've seen so far. Baron Matsuri being the first.
Good
so I'm excited
choice
about
there.
this one.
Yeah.
But I will be at the Virginia Beach Lynn Haven 18. I do not yet own a One Piece podcast t-shirt. Shame on me. But I will be there. So, hey, if you see me around, say hi.
And yeah, I'm sure if you follow any of us on Twitter, you'll see where we are at that moment. So follow us on Twitter and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with that out of the way, I want to talk about what we're doing this week. We're going to have our Zoe anime marathon. I'm really excited about this, Sam. We have a lot of episodes to go through there.
Sure do.
Are you excited about this? No.
Yes, I am.
I'm
I'm excited to hear my voice talking for a long period of time.
Perfect. Yeah, I think I'll be able to join you for that. I just marathon through all of Zoe, basically, at least like 10, 11 episodes of it, and it's been a really fun ride. I am surprised how much I'm enjoying it.
Yep.
Considering I know what happens.
It's a combination of one, the Zoe anime is pretty solid all around, and two, One Piece, the anime is just way more fun if you marathon it rather than watching it week to week.
For sure. That really is true.
Not that I have that privilege lately, but
So, stay tuned for that. We also have our manga recap of Chapter 851, which is appropriate since this is episode 451 of the podcast. I don't think that's going to track along all year, but for the time being. And that's a very good chapter as well, so make sure to stick around for that. We should have some piece together as well for this season premiere episode of the One Piece podcast, so why don't we get started?
Yeah.
This is the manga recap for chapter 851, Dog End. And before we get into the chapter itself, I want to talk about the Shonen Jump cover. Now, Steve, accurately describe what is going on this Shonen Jump cover.
They're riding a really big rooster. What else do you think I'd say?
I'm not quite sure.
They're in some sort of Japanese garb. I don't know. I'm American.
oh my god, to cock.
That's
pretty
I don't
gross.
get it.
So yeah, it's the year of the rooster.
It's a new year.
Yeah.
Year of the rooster.
Mm-hmm.
Why not celebrate it with the One Piece gang, except not all of them?
Yeah, that's kind of suspicious.
Yeah, why is it just this group? It's an odd...
Guys, do you think Frankie and Robin and Brooke are being canceled?
They're too old. They didn't survive the purge.
I was gonna say they're the adult trio, and they were too mature for all the jokes.
But yeah,
They've been Logan's Run.
I don't even know what that means, but all right.
You've never seen Logan's Run? Okay, let's just move on. So is there anything you want to talk about with the cover other than the phallic symbols on it?
I still don't see what you're talking about.
Okay, let's talk about the color spread, because I love this color spread. We talked about this a little while back because it was featured at Jump Festa 2016.
It was, and it's an enchantment under the sea, as the Straw Hats are sort of undersea, I guess, and we have a lot of fish and crustaceans, and all of them are wearing blue. I don't know if it's just the year of blue or it's just it's an undersea thing. I think I might be looking too far into it, but very nice colors, nice mesh. You have like a lot of orange in there to pop from all this blue and pink, like dark purple. It's cool. Luffy's got a funny little face and a big pirate hat.
And we mentioned during the Jump Festa episode the whale and the shark, and no spoilers, but this chapter kind of puts an interesting touch.
The one thing is, I don't know if that like pun translates over to Japanese, because it's its own species with its own different name. We call them whale sharks, but well, I'm sure the aquatic angle was probably a knowing nod at the very least, as we will see later on.
Something about this color spread really clicks with me. I think it's really cool. For the most part, it's just a kind of a general group shot, and it's blue, and that's basically the hook there. But like something about
he did a really good job with the color palette. It's very clearly defined.
And just like
it's not all over the place.
I don't know, because like I feel like we expect just like Straw Hats like goofing off and in the middle of wacky scenarios with these color spreads a lot of the time. But like I don't know, sometimes just like a cool set of cool poses is enough for me.
I agree. This kind of reminds me of the Strong World color spread in a way. I mean, just because they were doing all cool poses and cool outfits and that kind of thing.
This is the 20th anniversary. This is the 20th anniversary yearbook photo.
Yes.
They're better dressed than the anime 15th anniversary outfits.
Oof.
Oh God.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's please get. Even Oda doesn't want to talk about that. Okay.
But
If this is the year of
talk all you
feather
want.
boas-
Talk all you want. These are somewhat close.
They look awesome. Is the difference?
If this is the year of the feather boas and big fluffy coats, I am into it.
That's every year with Oda, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that's so unusual.
Well, no, we had a century of it with Doflamingo, I guess.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about the color spreads, except for the two starfish having a very nice time in the front? Although one looks like he's not as into it as the other.
Sanji better watch out for that
Save
lionfish there. That's very poisonous.
Okay.
Is that the what looks like a blowfish?
That the lion, or is it a lionfish or is it a rockfish? I think a lionfish is a type of rockfish. It's the one with all the crazy little feelers coming off of it. The red one.
The red one? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's
poisonous.
He's the chef, so he knows how to cook it properly. And
That's true.
it's like the fugu. What is that?
I
season
understand
1?
why the devil fruit users are able to stand at the bottom of the sea, but what about the rest of them?
Let's move on into the chapter. Steve, what's going on?
Very heavy shoes.
Well, we start off with Pudding monologuing, and she says, "Tomorrow else, 6 of the Vinsmokes are going to get pumped full of lead." And we cut to the rumbling thunder and the pouring rain, and she continues, "The wedding will be dyed red with blood." Really on the nose with this Game of Thrones.
Gee, yeah, I wonder where he got that idea.
Yeah.
The rains of Whole Cake Island.
Well, maybe it's like a red syrup.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like this is jelly. It's jelly.
What is it, red number 3 or whatever?
She says, "Be sure, and she's just like, it's like, be careful when you die. If any blood gets on the wedding cake, Mama's gonna be furious.
Yes, blood tastes
She's gonna
awful.
destroy the entire building. Better not look into that. Yeah, it's not gonna be too much of a plot point. As Pudding is just holding her gun. Reiju isn't saying a thing, and Sanji's still back to the wall, defeated. As we go to the next set of pages, we pull out a little bit and we see Sanji still right against the window. He's all sad. He's got his flowers in his picnic basket. And then kablam! A gunshot goes through the wall. Not necessarily near Sanji, but pretty close, enough to kind of be like, "Ooh, watch it." And she says, like, "This gun here is an awesome gun." It's the 36 caliber Walker percussion pistol. and it fires what we call candy jackets. Greatest handgun ever made. She's like, these are
more than enough to kill anything that moves.
I love reloading during a wedding. She's just like, these are strong enough to pierce soldiers, in heavy armor with shields. So so it's like I think I've proven right here that it works well enough, and it's like especially against you Vince Smokes and your superhuman powers and your super bodies. As we cut to Rachel, who's just not even looking at her. She's like, as she's just sitting there bleeding from her leg, and Nitro is still her handcuffs. And she's like,
has it been brought up before, explicitly mentioned before, that the Vince Smokes have metal bodies?
I think they're just superhuman. That's the thing. It's kind of like it's like CP9's Iron Body,
Well, yeah. Right. Is that a turn of phrase, or is that?
No, I think they've mentioned that before, and we saw with Yonji having the machinery banging on his head and straightening him out and stuff. So
true,
yeah.
Oh, by Dr. Underlip, right?
Right, Underlip.
I love that guy.
And Pudding continues on. She says, "Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow." The look on Sanji's face when he goes from trusting to have a gun pointed right between his eyes, and the peanut gallery of Nitro the Jelly and Rabian the Carpet. They laugh and they go, "Oh, what's a good voice for Nitro? I guess he's kind of gangster." He's like, "Yeah, that'll be great." I'm the free guy.
Yeah, well, actually, I want to point out here, I did a little, not obfuscation, but I had to do a little trickery here, because for people who understand katakana, you can see his laugh over his head. What he's actually doing is gya ha 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 ha, but I put it as ga ha 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 because gya is also the start of the word gyang, or gangster, which is it is the epithet of one certain character in this arc, and there are lots of similarities here. And I was like, you know what, this, I cannot discount that there is some kind of connection here. So I got to make sure I line this up so that the details are right, because we always joked about how Nitro had the sort of gangster fedora, and now he's got a stogie as well. And I don't know, there's a lot of coincidental similarities here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of sort of gangstery type, even beyond Capone's group. There seems to be just a lot of gangstery vibes in this arc.
Right, but specifically, it's okay, well, Nitro, he's very Capone-like here, and we assume, obviously he is a homie, so therefore he has some soul.
Oh,
in him.
I see what you're saying now. Okay.
Could it be?
Yeah.
Wow, what a subtle.
I see.
Steve, go for it.
Better not look too into it. And then the flying carpets is to think the dumb sap actually believes you're in love with him. Because the
why is the Arabian carpet a southern kind of stereotype?
I don't. Well, the flying carpet didn't talk in Aladdin, so I don't know.
You only know your accents from Disney movies. Is that
more or less?
Okay.
And I think Pudding just has another laugh. She's like, "Oh, it'll be good." And it's like, I wonder if he'll make a face like this, and pretty much makes the Eneru
Corona kind of looking.
Corona,
Kami,
and who's the other Sugar. And Nitro has another laugh, and he's like, "Yeah, it's perfect." And we cut to Sanji's reaction, after every one. She's like, or maybe like this, Pudding. And
ouch.
and this is more of a look of disbelief. They have another laugh, and then Pudding rises up. She's like, "What's wrong? You're not looking at me. We're talking about your own brother after all. Do you know he even proposed to me? This was Rich. It's like his he just pulled this weird face mask off, and he looked like shit. And
I really like
word
this.
for word. Yeah.
I really like the sequence of like making these faces because they're the exact kind of like shocked reactions that you see in One Piece, but like what we know of the story is that Sanji's reaction is much more. It would probably be a lot sadder than shocked.
This is he's getting like the ultimate like the moment you leave the party and then you whoops, I forgot my jacket, and then you pause outside the door and you hear them all making fun of you. Like that's what he's getting right now.
It's very soap opera.
Yeah.
I really, really love the bottom panels too, that you kind of see Sanji in that second to last one, eavesdropping, and then you zoom in on the face without the eyes, and I think Oda does a very good job there, especially, but he continues to do a good job on the next page. Casey.
So we cut to a flashback. A few tears, and he was like, "Putty in my hands. Men are so stupid." And of course, we get the Puddin crying and talking about how she won't let the marriage be the hell that the rest of his life has been. So the very sympathetic moment where we all kind of started to like her. And another glimpse of Sanji in the rain. Then he pulled me close and managed to squeak out some words. And of course, Sanji's still trying to get the cigarette lighter to light.
And he's dropped the flowers too.
The flowers are on the ground. And then of course, she then does mock the ice pack face with the bloated cheeks and battered lips. "You are my salvation. Let's get married." and then of course the gangster, the homies all get a good laugh out of it, as the homies tend to do. And so. So we cut back to Reiju, who is visibly disgusted but trying her best not to show it, while Puddin continues to mock the proposal for being pathetic. And then we, again, I really like the perspective shifts that we're getting in this chapter of her mockery and Sanji outside. The focus is very much on Sanji. He's still struggling to light the lighter. It's just not coming. And as they continue to mock, we get, I think, in my opinion, one of the best panels in the entire chapter, which is that final panel on this page of Sanji completely defeated, visibly crying. I mean, this is the second panel in a me at the start of Sanji versus me at the end of the year of Sanji tweet. It's a very beautiful thing.
It's a crazy evocative panel. Like his face really, and really brings something out of you.
Yeah, is there any better like visual metaphor for feeling like this than the trying and failing to light your cigarette in the rain motif? Obviously this is the what the chapter title is referring to, it's a movie moment for sure.
And also the rain is syrup, which just makes it way worse.
Yeah.
Oh God.
As we've discussed,
it's going to be awful to get out of his hair.
Oh God.
But I agree. It's the failure to light the cigarette, the fire in his heart being extinguished. So this is him at his lowest moment since I can't remember how long it's been since he's been this defeated.
And it's not the typical Oda crying face. We've seen many of those in different ways.
Yeah, it's just broken. Like he's not exploding outward with emotion. He's just like falling apart.
I mean, I feel like this is one of the more realistic kind of crying faces, or at least a version of a cry. I mean, I think this is what a lot of people look like when they begin to cry.
I liked specifically, like artistically speaking, the effect of the tear where Oda kind of did like the light refraction on it, so you kind of see his pupil twice. Like that's a very cool detail.
Yeah, it's a very, very beautiful panel. And again, it's nice to have Sanji's ultimate defeat, like his most broken moment, not be a physical fight, but be one where his chivalric instincts were clearly taken advantage of.
Yeah,
it's a moment of real character growth.
Yes, for sure. So I guess we will move on to the treasure repository, where previously we had seen Big Mom catching Brook in the act of copying the road poneglyph, And here they are. It seems they've been kind of going back and forth, but now we get a pause in the action for them to monologue at each other. And so she's confused. She's accusing him like, "Why are you still on your feet? What is it? What is it about copying this stone that is so important? This is more important to you than rescuing Sanji?" And Brooke is kind of giving I guess the crew's motivations as for why they are all not attempting to break Sanji out here. And he says, Sanji is very kind-hearted. We knew, this series of circumstances was going to kind of compel him to act the way that he does. We knew he wasn't going to return, no matter what kind of horrible trap you had set up. He's once he makes up his mind that he's going to sacrifice himself for someone or something, he's not going to change his mind. There's just no stopping it. And then we get this huge imposing panel where Big Mom is just looming over Brooke, and Zeus and Prometheus are looking about as evil as we've seen them in the series so far, just leering at him. And Brooke continues, "Our captain is a man who always trusts in his own beliefs when he acts. So, whatever happens between Luffy and Sanji, that is going to be decided by them. It's not up to the rest of us." And Big Mom taunts him. Oh, is that so? So you didn't have anything better to do than just copy a stone? And Brooke says, "No, not quite. I'm doing this so that in the worst case scenario," picking his words very carefully here, "the worst case scenario is that Sanji does not return with us. Then at least he won't have any lasting regrets, because we'll have gotten something for our trouble, something tremendous." And then he in the corner here, he's like, "We will have taken your road poneglyph." And this does not impress Big Mom. She's, "Ma. Oh, it's a pretty weak worst case scenario, if you ask me. But that's the worst thing you can imagine. Sanji's not coming back. Nobody dies. Everyone might. You could all die." And perhaps the line of the chapter here, Brooke retorts, "Young lady, what kind of idiot draws up plans with expectations of dying?" Which is great. It's pure Brooke that he gets the line about dying or not dying.
He also gets to call Big Mom a young lady, which is one of the few who could.
Excellent.
And he's not being salesman-y about it. It's legitimate for him. He's in his.
Is
90s.
your mother home?
Do we know how old Big Mom is?
No, but
no.
I mean,
Wait
she's
for a couple
probably not
SBSs and
older
we'll
than-
find out.
She does not reveal her age. I mean, we don't also know because her powers kind of feed into the age. She could use a soul
Right.
maybe to change her age.
Yeah, it's suspicious there. I do want to point out here that I found it kind of interesting and curious and suspicious that Big Mom seems to really discount the value of the stone, as she calls it. That you'd have nothing better to do than do this, when really, at least as far as kind of the reader is concerned, in terms of the framing of the story, ultimately the road to poneglyph is more important than anything we're seeing here, at least as far as getting to the end goal. It's more important than beating Big Mom. She's just another obstacle on the eventuality of Luffy and crew succeeding at their quest. But she does not seem very concerned about that at all, which kind of raises the question of okay, what exactly are the road poneglyphs? I mean, presumably she must know the significance of it, but it's almost like she doesn't really consider it to be a realistic tool to get to Raftel. I mean, I guess maybe she, of all the four emperors, maybe she's the one who is least likely to do that, because she has her own kingdom. She kind of has her own set of goals that she's doing, but I found it very interesting.
I think that speaks to Big Mom as a character, though, because everything we know about her is that she responds most instinctively to instant gratification. And something like
Mhm.
translating a bunch of poneglyphs and then chasing them to the ends of the earth is probably it's just getting pleasure now is more important than trying to work towards something
Like the
big like
Tamase
that.
box, yeah,
Right.
that's something that's going to matter in I guess tomorrow, versus who knows when.
And one quick question: is Prometheus the sun? Or-
Yeah, I think that is
Okay,
right.
so
Yeah.
that's a cool way to show Prometheus getting.
Zeus still
Right.
looks dopey as hell. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
Zeus just looks,
Yeah.
still looks like a cartoon cloud, but Prometheus just looks like a
it's that
amazing
stupid
fireball.
beanie. It's that
Yeah,
beanie.
exactly. I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't have the propeller on the top.
Yes, I mean that's what creates the wind.
Exactly.
But that panel of the three of them is one of my favorite Big
Yes.
Mom panels so far.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's a-
definitely my favorite Big Mom panel. Probably one of my favorite panels in the arc so far. That's a really cool page.
Yeah, especially because Brooke looks awesome. He's got like this sort of windswept look, and
he's got like a lightning scar going down, like it's not a scar, a crack in his skull, on one of his eyes, which looks really cool too.
Gonna need some milk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the milk will fix it. Brooke usually his breaks don't usually stay, except for the one that opens his head. Anyway, he's also missing a tooth. That's how you know a battle's really fierce, is when you're missing a tooth.
Oh, boy.
We go to the next page into the mirror world, and we hear Brule laughing. Free. Anyway, and she tells them to stop tickling her. As we look into Chopper's Magic Mary Poppins bag, in which Brule is stuffed into, and she's like, I'll tell you. And Chopper tells Carrot that she could stop tickling. And as she prepares to tickle further, she says, tell us, which mirror is the one to the castle? And Brule, foaming at the mouth from Conqueror's tickler hockey, says, look, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna get you. For some reason she's Rickish there. And she says, look, I don't remember where they all go, so just ask the stupid things yourself. The mirrors know what they're reflecting, so damn you, Steven. Carrot and Chopper yell, mirrors in this hall. Which of you leads past the castle wall? And we
All right, so I realize that the rhythm does not work perfectly, but it's really difficult because that line is obviously the Snow White mirror on the wall thing. That does not really rhyme in Japanese. I mean, rhyming in general in Japanese does not exist in the same
because
capacity
everything
that-
rhymes in Japanese.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the closest thing that Japanese culture has to understanding rhymes as we understand them is basically in like Japanese rap, which is basically just mimicking the way that English words rhyme. So like it's somewhat of a foreign concept, and so like they just asked it literally like, hey, mirror, which one goes to the castle wall? And so I was like, okay, well, shit, this has to rhyme because like that's the whole point. That's the reason why it's such a memorable line in English, is that it has this catchy rhyme, and so I really had to stretch it to get it. I mean, I guess I could have I could have done it a different way where it didn't rhyme with wall, so it could have been like mirrors, you're all assholes. Which of you leads into the castle or something?
I don't know if that rhymes exactly, but I'm sure someone will
slanted
take that
rhyme.
one. Anyway, the mirrors respond, I do. No, it's me. Me too. And they're all saying these, which ones. And then some say, look, I'm inside of Lady Galette's closet. We have not been introduced to that person, have we?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Or who am I forgetting?
She's the sister of the second rank siblings, like the one who's always with Mondor and Opera.
Oh. Yeah, I know
Yep.
which one you're talking about. What does she do? Do we know which one? There's so many, and they got introduced all at the same time. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Right.
Sounds like One Piece.
The The other is a hand mirror on the second floor guest room. The other is a fourth floor women's bathroom mirror, but Sanji is not in this cart, so I doubt they go there. And they all answer the question. Sanji and Carrot are shocked about it. And Chopper notices, look, do any of you reflect who Luffy, Nami, Brook, Pedro, or Sanji? They're looking for them. And we got, so they mostly are like, who the hell is that? One just saw Sanji pass. And then we have Carrot saying, I've got this Chobro. She's great at drawing faces, which
Oh boy.
doesn't sound promising, but okay. Usually when Carrot says I'm great at something, it's not always true. But let's move on to the next page,
Well,
Sam.
I don't know. I mean, the Unluckies were really, really good at drawing, so maybe it's an animal thing.
That would be weird. that's speciesist. I guess in a good way, but still. Anyway, what's next, Sam?
So we transition back to Sanji's scene where he's still standing in the rain, sort of looking down at the ground, really, really feeling miserable. And we've got Pudding sort of hanging over Reiju, saying, "So, sister dearest," being kind of a douche about it. I've got to be careful that you don't die of blood loss. Plus, I certainly don't want you telling anyone about the secret sordid side of mine that you just saw. And so she's doing this sort of hand thing. Her hand actually just goes straight into Reiju's head, and it's like, clearly we're seeing a power of some sort. And she's saying, "Hold still, this won't take long." And now she's pulling out what looks like a actual line of film, like photography, film.
I guess Oda's been watching JoJo's Part 4.
Yeah. And she's pulling this film strip out, and she's saying that this is the power of the memo fruit. You see, every person contains a film of memories inside them. Doesn't everyone have frightening experiences, painful memories? We can just yank that right out. I'll just take this memory from a soldier who got hit by a stray bullet and edit. And she just cuts the story that this moment that she just had with Reiju. She just cuts it right out of her memory. And Reiju falls back looking like she's falling unconscious. And now she's laughing about it. Now your memories have all been cut. Let's have a nice, fun wedding. And Sanji has left, and she's saying, call a soldier. Let's get Reiju to the medical room right away.
Very bad time for Sanji to leave. But also note that he took the picnic basket to, I assume, a lonely bear in a park somewhere.
Who's got to get, you want alcohol at this point in time.
Yes.
Yeah. So this page was kind of like, okay, the final puzzle clicking in, or the piece of the puzzle clicking into place for me, where it was like, okay, this kind of wraps up neatly the stuff. You may recall that last chapter when Roger was the kind of dissenting opinion about Pudding's act. That was kind of how I felt originally when I saw the turnaround, when the other shoe dropped, and all of the stuff that she did here, like with the fact that she demonstrates that she is clearly like sort of malevolently theatrical. Like she loves acting out. She's very mocking. All the facial expressions. That explains to me, okay, why she would do all this stuff.
Villain thing.
Right, exactly. Like lean over to whisper into Luffy and Nami's ear, and then leave with the tears in her eyes, like, "Oh, you poor souls." Okay. So now we've seen that she is demonstrably, very demonstrative in her kind of villainess role, and then
she's an actor, like that's her thing.
Right. Mm-hmm. And now we see that, okay, now she has these memory powers. So it's like the perfect thing for a Bond villain, because now she gets to, whenever she has a plot, she gets to reveal it to the people, and then she can cover her tracks by just altering their memory so that it doesn't come back to hurt her.
The fact that she has powers that are like a movie film, and she's like an actor type.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, also, if you're a melodramatic actress type, if you ever give a bad performance, you can erase that too.
Yeah. Hold on, take two.
Yeah.
Casey, take us to the next page.
So we're now in the prison library, where again the prison is just a prison drawn inside of a book. Opera is standing guard, and Luffy is still bound up and bouncing aggressively against the walls while Nami begs him to stop, and he's essentially trying to rip his arms, I guess, as much out of socket as a man made of rubber can, because there's like blood gushing out as he's stretching the I don't know what you'd call that, like the nail.
Yeah. Well, the nail's holding him in, but yeah, it's like I don't know. I think this is like manga shorthand for, okay, well, if it's something really bad, like blood will just kind of shoot out of them. It's sort of like how every punch to the gut makes you spit up blood or whatever.
It's like when you stretch a rubber band, the middle of the rubber band is what starts to snap and break, and for Luffy, there's blood in it. So
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
yeah, I'm just imagining stretching a rubber band too far, like we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Well, if it was Stretch Armstrong, then it should have like the cornstarch syrup stuff.
Yeah. Those weird little beads. Yeah.
Luffy's precious goo.
Yes.
Go for it, Casey.
Sure. So yeah, Opera's trying his best to play the role of the guard, and just trying to get information. He's a torturer. This is the Candy Guantanamo. And so Plan B of torture is proposed, and his torture plan is that every 5 seconds that they don't want to talk, he's going to shoot them with a crossbow. So, not the most effective torturer, but I guess that would work.
It'd be quite painful.
Yeah, it would be quite painful, but limited in its efficacy.
Don't kill him just yet.
I want him alive.
So yeah, but it does get them talking, but it gets them talking with nothing that he would actually want. They're just sort of screaming and trying to protest their treatment. And this, of course, leads to the arrival of a familiar figure, but we don't see him quite yet. Opera is surprised to see him, saying, "Hey, you're not supposed to be inside this part of the castle. You're not even supposed to be here." And the figure shouts, "Sorry to do this, Opera, 5,000 brick!" And we see a fist pull back, and it's
Sam. It's Sam.
It's Sam.
It's our good friend Jinbei, first knight of the sea. He's using his 5,000 brick fist, and he's punching Opera right in the gut. And this huge action panel. Opera is looking like he's getting knocked clean out. Luffy and Nami are shocked. Jinbei is, still in sort of the follow through of his punch, and Opera's just sort of he's passing out, going, "Jinbei, no!" And Luffy and Nami are shocked. "Jinbei, what are you doing here?" And I was just, I was smiling so big when I read this.
Yeah, this is good.
I was just like. And Jinbei's like, Luffy, Nami, I heard they had you prisoner.
You're not doing the voice the rest of the time?
Well, you guys laughed at me.
No, it's his voice. That's his voice.
I heard they had you prisoner. I'm glad you are both all right. We can talk later, but first, wouldn't you rather get out of there? And they're just like, yes. That's exactly what we want. And I am just ecstatic that Jinbei is back again.
Yeah.
Again, for like the second time this arc.
Yeah, Jinbei's been back a lot. Let's be fair. That's his thing.
Well, it does raise a question though that he says, "Don't you want to get out of there?" But remember, that's not like it's a physical nail that they're stuck to that is keeping them in there. These are devil fruit powers.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So
he could have salt water.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Not a bad idea. Yeah. Well, we could, I guess, talk about that more next week. Let's just say Jinbei's back and forget about all the other little things.
I wanted to comment just with the Jinbei impact panel of the 5,000 brick fist hitting again. This is I'd say the third panel in this chapter alone that is some of the best art in the entire arc. Like Oda is firing on all cylinders with this chapter.
That's because he had a week off.
Yeah, well, give him more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It pays.
Okay, so why don't we go through the chapter and your guys' thoughts? Let's start with Steven. What did you think of this chapter?
Oh man, this was great. Yeah, I saw this several weeks ahead of time. The holidays are kind of a funny scheduling period as far as all the breaks and stuff, and authors tend to submit their chapters extra early so that they get a nice long vacation. at the end of the year. And so this was like, you know, the perfect counterpart, like the second half for the chapter we had in the previous issue, where, you know, it's like we start off with this, you know, we're coming in from a note of just kind of despair that, you know, Sanji has just been totally crushed. You know, the sympathetic character turns out to be, you know, potentially the ultimate mastermind of the arc. You know, we're not quite sure yet, but Pudding certainly seems to you know, be taking matters into her own hands in certain ways, and then to kind of round it out by this triumphant return of Jinbei, who by the way, like, we have not had any answers as to what happened with the you know, the roulette wheel of death.
We know he didn't lose a limb or anything.
No, well, I don't know. I mean, I only see one leg in that one action panel.
It's likely he has, yeah. It's likely his legs and arms are intact, but you are right. We don't see one of them.
We've seen with Kyros, you know, well, losing a leg doesn't
God, I know. Please
stop you from doing anything.
I'm sick of chopping off legs. Okay, we've had 2 of them already in the last 2 arcs. Is every arc going to include a leg that's not attached?
No.
And Sanji's arc started that way, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like Jinbei is totally fine. So that's an interesting question underlying all of this.
It's probably he lost years, I think, is
that
likely.
Yeah, like,
possibly. Yeah.
Given what we know now, that does.
And he's kind of older
of
too. What's his age? Do we know his exact age?
He's got to be like in his 40s, I think.
I thought he was 50 something.
I'll look this up while you guys are going through.
But yeah, a great, a triumphant return, and you know, obviously in the nick of time.
46.
And it's 46. Okay. And it's the sort of thing that, like, okay, clearly, you know, the last time that we had seen him with the roulette wheel, he was still kind of in the position of trying to make things right in the you know, in the sort of the Japanese sense of obligation and duty and all that, you know, to square things up with Big Mom. And it seems like, you know, whatever it was that happened, he's done with that now. Like, he, you know, he's fighting, he's taking out Big Mom's own son, her subordinate here. So clearly this is, you know, now this is like no longer giving a fuck Jinbei, basically.
By the way, he is 46 years old as of after the time skip. Birthday, April 2nd. I don't know if that was 2nd. Important.
Yeah, so that is a great note, and it's super exciting, and you know, I think very, very much needed after all of the kind of doom and gloom stuff. But aside from that, you know, I did talk about kind of how I felt about the Pudding scenes, which I thought recontextualized her actions in a way that made much more sense in retrospect, which I appreciated a lot. And aside from that, I still love how kind of comical and lackadaisical the Chopper and Carrot side arc, or, you know, side activities continue to be. That, oh, like they've been rushing around like desperately trying to find the right mirror, and it turns out you could just ask them where they go, which is, you know, in keeping with what has been happening so far, is revealing very kind of I don't know, like very, very easy solutions to things that seemed very difficult, which I kind of like as a kind of lighthearted outlet to all the other stuff going on in this arc. So yeah, great chapter. I'm loving this, and it kind of seems like things are all falling into place to get us to the climax of the arc.
Casey, what did you think of this chapter?
Sure. Well, as I've said before, Whole Cake Island is the first arc I am reading from week to week. I had the benefit of marathoning everything leading up to this point, so I really dug this chapter. I think since I started reading from week to week, this is my favorite chapter I've read so far. Just because there is so much. This is such a roller coaster of emotions. You have Sanji's deepest tragedy. You have the triumphant return of Jinbei. You have, as was said by Steven, the recontextualizing who Pudding is as a character that now makes everything else we saw of her in retrospect make more sense, and also, just I don't know, intensify and rereading it, I'm sure it'll read even better. I like her as this melodramatic monologuing villain who just erases her way through awkward situations. And I just think this is a really great chapter with some of the best pieces of art in the arc. Like I said, there's 3 panels in this that I think are among the best he's produced for Whole Cake Island. So heck of a chapter. Can't wait to read the rest.
Yeah, I think just quickly, the art has just gotten so much better since Dressrosa. I think this chapter is definitely a testament to that. Steve, what did you think of this chapter?
Well, I am ecstatic to see Jinbei back. We've all been wondering what happened to him since the Wheel of Destiny, or Wheel of the Worst, whatever we're calling it. Definitely seems like he probably had some years taken off his life. So I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy's like, great, now you can join my crew again. And Jinbei would be like, well, I only have 1 year left to live. Or like a couple months left to live.
Ouch.
And that'll piss off Luffy even more, and you'll want to take Big Mom down. That's my little guesstimation on what could happen. I like the idea of Pudding being the aspiring actress. So that Pudding is the kind of annoying person that like sings on the subway.
Yep. Yep.
She's the performer with the rich parent that just thinks that she got by on her own talent.
No, she's the one who she's going to her vocal class, so she rehearses on her way in the fucking subway. Because she's annoying. I like actually this chapter even made the Pudding heel turn better, because if she's gonna be a bitch, be an over the top bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think we haven't had a villain quite like this since Caesar Clown. So if you're gonna be despicable, just be despicable. Don't be, oh, I'm evil now. I'm Dark Pudding. Go all out. I think like the panel of this chapter for me was the "You are my salvation" face. Those 2 panels are a riot, but I feel so bad for Sanji. Now, like Sanji's back on his his spy game thing. He knows what's going down. So I'm curious how he's gonna go into this wedding. I feel like I wonder if he'll pull out a gun or pull out his foot. I don't know. He just has his shoe on his hand. Nobody move. It's the Simpsons with the boot. When Homer puts on the boot on his arm and he points it at everybody. Sanji might do that.
No.
Well, it's fun to dream. Other than that, that's all I really got to say. A pretty nice follow-up to the previous chapter.
Sam.
Oh, I love this chapter a lot. It's almost suspicious how much the recent chapters feel like they're responding to me and my thoughts. Because I remember like last week I was saying like I wasn't entirely sure, like when the Pudding reveal happened, like I wasn't entirely sure if she was now like her evilness was a new lie or what, but this one feels like it cemented pretty firmly that she really is that evil. And the other thing being a lot of the conversations that I have with other members of the podcast here, like on Twitter, about Sanji and like his motivation for being here and why he isn't like taking like Luffy's help. And why he wouldn't just have faith in his crew like the crew has been having throughout the entire series. And I remember, I think Dude specifically was talking about how it stems from Sanji's self-sacrificial nature.
There you go.
And like that wasn't like I wasn't quite sold on that yet, because it didn't seem like that was like in the text of the story yet. But then here in this scene with this really awesome Brook scene, Brook just straight out says that's the case. So that's the idea. And like, I'm like, okay, now I see it now. And then obviously Jinbei, like just very, very recently, I was talking about how excited I am to see Jinbei come back, and how I'm like pretty sure that he is in fact joining the crew, and I'm just excited to see that, and I'm excited to see any other members that might potentially, because that's just something I'm thinking about a lot, is like getting the crew a little bit bigger than the 9 we've had for so long. And then immediately the next chapter, I hadn't read it yet, boom, Jinbei's back and he's reuniting with Luffy already. And I just feel like Whole Cake Island as a whole has been the exact like week to week experience that I want One Piece to be, which is also funny because like it started becoming that like the day after I was like having doubts about the arc, I was like, I don't know, like I'm not on the edge of my seat, but now, the last like 5 chapters or so, it's just been like everything I want One Piece to be, and it's been like just perfect.
Sam, I really like your statement about the self-sacrificial Sanji, which is a great alliteration. I've kind of forgot that Alex had mentioned that a few weeks back, but seeing everything in this chapter really makes me feel better about all the things I complained about with Sanji in the previous chapters. The fact that he was kind of having Robinitis, as we put it.
Right.
I think it kind of makes more sense now. Sanji was like, I don't want to get Luffy involved. I'll figure this out. I'll do this on my own. I'll make everything fine. He's just so... it's not that he felt like he was in Robin's position, but he's just like, this is something I could take care of, guys. If worse comes to worse, I won't return. That's fine. You don't need me. It's more important that I fix everything here. Overall, though, this chapter was freaking excellent. This is probably one of my at least top 3 of this arc chapters.
And like all the praise that I was having just now, that's not even mentioning how great the art and like all the panels we've been gushing about and all that.
Yeah, the art this is probably the nicest looking chapter, I'm gonna say, of the arc so far. I think that book page in particular is great. I think all the stuff with Sanji looks great. I think the page with Jinbei at the end looks fantastic as well. It says something that the slowest part of the chapter is with Chopper and Carrot, and that was not bad at all. But it's just, this was just such a nonstop roller coaster of a chapter that it just, I'm even more at the edge of my seat as to what'll happen next week. And every time you think it's, Oda's throwing a wrench in it, he throws another wrench in it. He has a lot of wrenches, is what I'm trying to say.
I've just noticed that Carrot's ears are drawn much smaller than they have been.
I did not notice that, but I am not surprised you noticed that.
It feels very deliberate that like he's sort of shifting her design or something like that.
As I said, I did not notice that, but I am not surprised you noticed that. I do want to say, speaking of art and changes in art, I think Oda realized that he was drawing Evil Pudding a little bit different and took it back a little bit. This chapter, I think she looks a little bit more like she used to, as Good Pudding, except with the third eye, obviously.
Because like one of my points of interest, like I mentioned this on Twitter, is that like last chapter she had those like evil eyeshadows under her eyes that like look like I saw that art and I was just like, man, she looks kind of like tired and sad, so it makes me think there's something else here. But now none of that's there. It's like, no, those are just scary eyes.
Yeah, I think Oda just did that to exaggerate that she's evil now. She was evil all along. But now
no ambiguity.
Now that he's said that and done that, he could pull it back. And so, like on the second page spread, she kind of looks more like Pudding, which I'm happy about because I think she should look like herself. Really crazy out there idea, right? Anyway, I definitely am curious with the Capone stuff and Nitro also. I'm glad that Steven mentioned that. I'm very suspicious. I think that's everything I have to say. Are there any other lingering thoughts that you guys might have? No.
I think we got him out.
I guess Jinbei and Opera used to be friends at some point. That's the one thing where he apologizes before punching the hell out of him. Okay. Why don't we go into the next segment? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the triple anime recap for episodes 769, 770, and 771. I'm your host, Sam, and today with us we have our good friend Ed. How's it going, Ed?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Good anime this week for the most part.
Mm-hmm. And today we also have, our good friend. I need to learn how to talk. We have Caroline, also known as Dr. Valkyrie on Twitter. How's it going?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm cold.
Same.
It sounds like we all are.
I'm wearing my my fleecy, fuzzy slippers. It's nice.
I have my heat cranked to max.
All right. So the first of our triple anime recap is episode 769, A Red Stone, A Guide to the One Piece. I'm gonna try to be kind of brief on these first two, just because they're not quite as fresh in my mind. But the screenplay for that particular episode is Tomohiro Nakayama. Episode director and storyboard artist is Katsumi Tokoro. And animation director is Shigefumi Shingaki, who I believe we interviewed on OPP Japan.
That is correct. You can see that at oppjapan.com.
So the episode begins with we're still in the process of meeting Raizo. He's still chained up, and he's big and ugly and crying. Luffy and all of them are just heartbroken to find out that the ninja that they got so excited about was not as cool as they thought. Eventually, the samurai show up behind them to untie him, get him out of his chains. Raizo's like looking up like, okay, guys, how are you guys going? And then he's like looking, and he sees Luffy, and Luffy's making that face that's now like super popular with these just like
it's Zack's
like
face.
Really, yeah, the Zack face is like this super grumpy, really goofy looking face. Robin,
They do get a lot of mileage out of people being disappointed with Raizo, at least especially for the first two episodes. I think.
and especially in this one, this episode in particular was they dragged certain spots out just too much.
Yeah, I was about to say it was extremely stretched out for me.
Yeah.
So Robin and Nami arrive, and Robin recognizes the Kozuki symbol, which is the same symbol that was on Kinemon's back. She's also curious to see that there's a poneglyph here, except it's not like the poneglyphs we've been seeing so far in this series. This one is red. Dogstorm, he mentions that he knows about Robin. He knows that she can read the poneglyphs and that she's from Ohara. And then there's like a
cue extended Robin flashback sequence,
of which
in
we
every
get in every
Hey.
one of these episodes. There's an
I know,
Ohara flashback.
but it pays off. So I wasn't that upset about it after I think it was in the next episode where they do the line about I have friends who will protect me, and I really enjoyed that. So it kind of made the extended flashbacks a little more resonant. Doesn't seem as tacked on as they were.
All right, so now we get the proper ninja hijinks where everyone's circling around Raizo, telling them asking him if he can do this like classic ninja thing that they heard about, and even Laws is disappointed that ninjas aren't as cool as he had hoped.
They're all Naruto fans.
Yeah.
Shadow clones, and what was the other one? The summon a frog. Like, come on.
Yeah, and say nin nin.
Yeah.
And Raizo is quick to tell him that ninjutsu is not entertainment, and then he proceeds to use it as entertainment, just to cheer everyone up. So they head outside while Robin is busy translating the red poneglyph. We see the samurai, and we have like Usopp and Chopper who are like hanging on Raizo's mouth.
How big he is seems to vary.
Yeah. They're looking over the destroyed Zou village. This is another scene where it's like this would have been like a really great scene. Like the tears get like really crazy and really kind of dramatic and exaggerated and expressive, but it just goes on for so long that it kind of loses its meaning.
Yeah, like the first time I watched, I was really into how good it was getting, and then it just went on and on and on.
But yeah, this is basically
and it got very tiring.
This is a moment where the samurai just sort of like looking over the village, and they're really kind of hurt by how much destruction the Minks took for their sake, and ultimately it's a meaningful moment, and it's just sort of this breather before they come back inside where Robin has now translated the red poneglyph, and apparently it is a set of coordinates that Robin asks if Nami can read, and she can. So Dogstorm explains what this red poneglyph is. It's something called the red poneglyph.
Road poneglyph.
Yes, they're the road poneglyphs. There are 4 of them, and they all have coordinates on them. And when you find the islands that each one, points to, those 4 islands will line up, and the exact point where they meet on the world map is where Raftel is, the last island.
You know, I was thinking, is it even said that these points are islands, or is it just points in the sea based on coordinates? Do we even know?
Oh, I assume they were islands.
I thought it was just a point. It didn't matter if it was an island or a point in the ocean. It's just a coordinate.
The visual references are islands, but I don't know if they said islands or not in the dialogue. But yeah, that's basically how the episode wraps up, with where everyone's just sort of like freaking out, like, wait. Raftel, like the place where the One Piece is, the place where you go to become Pirate King, that Raftel. So
if you think about like what we got in this episode, it wasn't a lot. Like we got half of the explanation of what a poneglyph is, and we got ninja hijinks.
Yeah, I remember, because this was an episode I was looking forward to a lot, because this is such a huge reveal, but they kind of chopped it up between the episodes in a weird way. And this episode in general was kind of like just sort of stiff and flatly directed. Although I remember being a little more down on it when I first saw it and reviewed it for A&N, but like re-watching it today for taking notes, I actually kind of got into it a little bit more than I did. But it really drags in certain spots, like dramatically so.
Like I had the exact opposite, where I liked it way better the first time because I found the Rise of Stuff pretty funny.
Oh,
but
exactly.
watching it again, like it's not as funny the second time.
It just kind of goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I mean, I've only watched it the one time, and I enjoyed the Rizo stuff. And in retrospect, I enjoyed Robin, the little flashback bit with Robin. I mean, because I like that stuff anyway, but it pays off in a later episode.
Oh, yeah. Like the next episode is where the cool Robin stuff is.
Yeah.
So the next episode is 770, The Secret of the Land of Wano, the Kozuki Family, and the Poneglyphs. And this is an episode that I thought was just like jammed, packed with stuff and information and moments. Screenplay for this episode is Tomohiro Nakayama, once again. I think that's the same one from, episode director and storyboard artist is Kentaro Fujita, and animation director is Shuichi Ito. So right off the bat, we get like just big sweeping music as everyone's sort of, continuing to sort of freak out about Raftel. They're like, Raftel, that Raftel. Then we get
that Raftel.
Then we get our second Ohara flashback and a lot of narration of where the narrator is just sort of explaining the basics of the poneglyphs and the basics of Robin and Ohara and all that stuff. There is I did appreciate that there was a quick little reanimated segment from Skypia where Robin is reading Gold Roger's message that he wrote in the gold there.
Yeah, I wonder if that's ever been reanimated before, because that looked pretty good actually to me.
Yeah, that part looked good, but the Water 7 Ennis Lobby part later on didn't look reanimated at all, which was very odd.
Oh yeah. Because I think they reanimated the stuff that wasn't in HD when they were originally.
That's what I was thinking.
The thing I keep noticing, the thing that just sort of bugs me because I don't get why they do it, is whenever they go back to and like re-show Water 7 footage, they've always like tinted Robin's hair like slightly blue.
Never thought about that.
I notice it every time.
I never noticed it.
It bugs me so much because it's like I don't think her hair is blue like in the current shading and like in the current art palette or whatever.
I don't know. The thing that always bothers me about Robin is the inconsistent size of her forehead. And that's just a general complaint.
All right, so the idea here, Dogstorm continues to exposit the 4 poneglyphs. They will lead to Raftel. We know where 3 of them are. One of them is with us right here. We're looking at right now. The other one of them is with Kaido, and the third one is with Big Mom, and then there's a mystery 4th one. So that's a pretty big deal right there, and it's convenient that it's the 2 emperors that Luffy is like already kind of beefing with.
Well, it makes sense because like Blackbeard, he's only been an emperor for so long. He doesn't have that sort of institutionalized, or he doesn't have the ties that everyone else does. So it kind of makes sense that the 2 most powerful emperors, or well, I guess the 2 hostile emperors,
Like, Shanks could have had one, or Whitebeard could have had one back when he was alive and all that.
It wasn't clear to me that Shanks' goal actually was to reach Raftel, though.
Well, I
so
don't
maybe
know.
it makes sense.
Shanks is too busy partying.
He's
He's never going to get there.
How many of them do we even know are trying to be Pirate King? I think when Whitebeard showed up, he was the man closest to being Pirate King, but obviously I don't think he really cared that much.
Right.
I think that's only said because he actually knew about what was at Raftel from Roger.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good question.
They're talking about how one would go about getting the information off of a poneglyph from one of the emperors, and they're Dogstorm. It was either Dogstorm or Cat Viper was like, oh, no one goes around carrying such massive stones. And if the anime had animated Jinbei's little cover story, that would be a funnier statement. There's a cute little animation about them, a little demonstration of how they would ink the whole thing and press it a piece
The
of paper
chibi Luffy,
yeah,
tossing like he's a 1930s cartoon.
Yeah. But Luffy
draw himself out of an inkwell.
Luffy doesn't really love the idea of just copying the text. He wants to fight for it. He wants to actually take it, and do it the hard way.
He makes that face again.
Yeah. So there's just a bunch of awesome Robin love, as we're reminded that she is the only person who can actually read poneglyphs alive right now. And that means that there are people who are probably going to be after her, because that is about as valuable of information as they come. And everyone's getting excited, thinking about all the ways that they're going to defend her. And she's like, "Oh, you guys are so strong. You'll protect me." And everyone gets flattered. I love Nami's crazy eyes.
I really enjoyed that, though. After the flashback in last episode, and there was another one here where they flashed back to at the top of the courthouse.
Yeah,
the Tower of Justice in this episode before that. Yeah. So that really paid it off, and it's an interesting way of padding the episode out, because that's basically what it was. It was drawing, the length of the episode longer, but I like that emotional sort of beat there.
And then this brings us to this is an interesting sort of, I guess it was a filler scene, sort of, kind of, implied filler, where we see Jack waking up from a nightmare where he's remembering his fight with the Navy, where he got sunk and declared dead. And I think that was a really cool thing for them to add, and we get to see Fujitora and Tsuru and Sengoku and all of them. But we also get to see a little bit of a ship-on-ship battle, which is
I was about to say a naval battle in One Piece. It finally happened.
For about 2 minutes.
There were those bits with Shiki, right? They confronted him at the Battle of Ed War or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But that was a fight that happened off screen, though. So.
Yeah. They were on ships confronting each other.
Yeah. So we come back to the present, where we're getting more exposition from Dogstorm and Cat Viper. They're just sort of explaining everything that we need to know, because there's so little that we know, and there's so much that they need to tell us. So the poneglyphs are a product of the samurai of Wano. There's a lineage of people who specialized in carving out this impenetrable stone and writing the language out, and that is in part where the language comes from, but the knowledge of how to write this language and how to create poneglyphs and read them got cut off at Momonosuke's father. So Momonosuke's father, I guess he's a disgraced samurai lord, Oden, who. I
don't know if it was that he was a disgrace, but he was in conflict with the shogun.
Right. So, Momonosuke doesn't know doesn't know how to read poneglyphs. His father was the last person other than the Ohara people who would have been able to do that, and he was killed by the current shogun of Wano and Kaido himself. So I guess Kaido and the shogun of Wano are sort of partners in crime here. I'm actually super interested in learning more about this shogun. What kind of person has that kind of power alongside Kaido? We hear Oden's voice. This was a big thing in the manga where people were trying to understand who was even speaking in this flashback voice.
Yeah, they kind of cut that out, didn't they?
Well, no, because we do hear Oden's voice, and he's got the whole something about boiling and Oden and some Japanese pun that I don't think translates.
No, have you not seen Osamatsu-san?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, Odin is a kind of food that's like you can buy it in a stall in the street, and it's like it's sort of it's food that's like kept in a broth and spoiled in a broth, and you eat it on a stick. Yeah. They eat it on the show a lot.
And then the last big info bomb is that Odin, alongside Cat Viper and Dogstorm, although this might have been revealed in the next episode, but long story short, Odin and Cat Viper and Dogstorm traveled on Roger's ship, and they have seen, or at least Odin has seen, the quote unquote truth of the world, the thing that Robin is basically looking for by connecting all the poneglyphs together, and that's a real big deal, and that's the cliffhanger point for this episode.
There's a lot of silence at the end of this episode. I like that. I've always been a big proponent of the strategic use of no music in the background when serious stuff is being discussed.
Yeah,
and they did that. They did that here, and they also do the thing where like the sort of the debris hangs in the air, like in shadow. That's something that I don't notice that as much in other anime, but they do it in One Piece a bit.
Yeah, I have a ton of appreciation just for just how stuffed this episode feels. Like just it felt like a marathon. Just like beat this piece of information, then this information, then this thing, and then here's now a big crying scene where we reveal Odin, and now we're getting this bigger idea of where the next few arcs are going, and with Kaido and all that. Like it's just it's really packed. Like this one did not feel like it was dragging at all. It's still just like the characters standing around in one room for a couple episodes, but like this one really felt
very emotional.
Yeah, I was pretty into this episode, and then the next episode, episode 771, A Vow Between Two Men, Luffy and Kozuki Momonosuke. Title card begins at 5 minutes and 27 seconds on this episode. Screenplay this week is by Atsuhiro Tomioka. Episode director and storyboard artist is Satoshi Ito, and animation director is Midori Matsuda. And I don't think I've screwed up a single Japanese name this episode, so that's good.
Better than Zach.
So the episode opens with Momonosuke, crying and confirming that his father had indeed traveled on Roger's ship. Then we get this, we get Robin, who's looking over the poneglyph again, and we're getting more Ohara stuff. This is where I was getting a little sick of the Ohara stuff, where it's like, here's the third episode in a row we get an Ohara flashback. We get the third episode in a row where the narrate just like explains stuff we already know. I mean, I know this is for people who aren't necessarily like super fans like we are, but got a little repetitive.
It felt like we were getting beat over the head with it a little bit too much.
Yeah, this is the episode where it's like, because I have a very high tolerance for One Piece's slow pacing. This episode was the one where it's like, okay, I'm a little sick of them just standing in the room talking now. So they're talking about how Odin's words were, his big parting words were, open up the land of Wano. Wano is a kingdom that is cut off from the rest of the world. No one's allowed to leave. No one's allowed to enter.
So we're just doing, let's just make Luffy Commodore Perry? Or is that what we're doing here?
I don't know if I get the reference.
Commodore Perry, the man who took the American warships to Japan and forcibly opened trade relations.
Oh, okay.
Like Sakoku was it's during the Tokugawa shogunate until the mid 1800s, about 1850. Like the U.S. was so annoyed that we couldn't trade with Japan because it's a big market out there that we couldn't trade our goods with them. So we sent a bunch of warships and said, "Yeah, how about we do this or we blow up Tokyo?"
Like,
they were more diplomatic about it than that.
History of Japan video?
Oh, I probably did, but that thing goes by so fast. It's hard to. That was a very welcome history lesson. Thank you, Ed.
Yeah, but it was called. It was literally it was a closed country, so it's the same. It's a really direct parallel.
Yeah, that seems pretty clear at this point now. So yeah, again, thank you. So Kinemon asks Luffy and Law to fight alongside them in Wano. Obviously, they are all kind of against Kaido right now, so it kind of makes sense. But Luffy refuses, and that's when the eye catchers come in, and we move into the commercial, and then we come back, and we learn that the reason Luffy refuses is that he's mad at Momo for being a poor leader. Brooks trying to defend him, like, he's still just a kid. Like, if he's just because he's an heir doesn't mean that he's ready to be a leader yet. You got to raise him up first. But Luffy's not super impressed by that excuse, and Momonosuke is remembering this. And this is another thing where it's like I don't remember how much of this we got in the manga, where Momonosuke is remembering like his time in Wano, and there's like all this fire, and we hear like his mother dying, and Kaido's there, and so he's very frustrated. He's both his parents has been killed by Kaido, and he's like, I want to bring Kaido down, and he's getting all emotional, and he's begging Luffy, please help me, please help me. Cat Viper's like tearing up, and Dogstorm's telling him, "Oh, I've gotten old and weak, have gotten old and weepy," and Cat Viper's just like, shut up.
I'll say this was probably my favorite part of the episode. The flashback I felt was really impactful and felt very scary as from a child's point of view.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
So now it's also interesting from like Kinemon and Kanjuro's perspective of like, okay, we have to like avenge our lord and go out and find allies to fight the opposing forces inside of Wano.
Yeah, so Momonosuke is the one who's the leader. So it's up to him to ask Luffy himself, and he's begging Luffy, and they shake on it, and Luffy's like trying to show him how to shake hands like a man, and like he's like crying into Luffy's hand. And actually, there's a really cute moment where like he's crying, and like Momonosuke basically is falling while he's crying, and like Luffy just like catches his face in his hand, and it's like this cute little moment. And like actually really like Momonosuke's voice acting in this scene. Like I was really impressed.
Do they have an actual kid voicing Momonosuke like they did with Robin?
I can't imagine, because it's been like 3 years. It's been years since he's been introduced, so I imagine.
Oh, right. I forgot he's been around forever.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
But that was actually something I was reminded of during Robin's flashback of like, it's a good thing they have all these lines of her, because that kid has got to be like 20 now.
Yeah. It's true.
According to this,
according
to this,
anime appearance?
Momonosuke's voice. Oh wait, hold on a second.
Oh,
I
you're
got the
looking
wrong
person.
Yeah, I got the wrong actor here. Okay. Anyway, continue.
Like in celebration, and then so they're agreeing to team up, and
it's a 50-year-old woman.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Who also voiced Catra in Gundam Wing.
We see Cat Viper doing that like Japanese dance with like the fans, like in celebration. Law's like, hey, just draw it. Yeah. Weren't you supposed to ask me? Like, don't you think I'm a part of this? Like, don't you think I have a say? And Luffy's just like, well, I mean, it's cool, isn't it? And Law's like, I mean, it is cool, but that's not the point.
Motherfucker, everyone told you that this is what was going to happen. You didn't listen. You went along with it anyway, so this is what you get.
Kinemon,
all the Straw Hats told him.
Kinemon remarks that Luffy is the only one who actually treats Momonosuke like an adult, and that sort of reminds us of all the times that they've bickered like children, and Luffy has not really cared about his stance as royalty. So they all come together. I'm fuzzy right now. Did they share a cup of sake here, or are they just?
I think it's just a fist bump.
Yeah, they do like a big fist bump, and like it's official. We're the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance, and he's like, "Is the ninja part necessary?" And everyone's like, "Yep." Even though ninja should probably get grouped under samurai, but this is officially. The alliance is no longer just Luffy and Law. It is now Luffy, Law, the Minks, and the Samurai, or specifically the Kozuki clan. And that's how this episode wraps us up. I thought this episode had, like, I thought the stuff with Momonosuke is really strong emotionally, especially for a character that I don't actually like that much. But this is, like I said earlier, this is the episode where I'm just like, okay, I'm getting a little tired of like 3 episodes of what feels like kind of the same stuff.
I don't know. I think each episode sort of improved from the one before it. Like the first one was really the slowest and the least sort of happened. The second part had a lot of like sort of information. It was information heavy. It didn't quite have as much emotional resonance. I thought it did, except for the Robin thing.
Well, no, the Robin thing. The second episode had also had Kinemon like bowing and like talking about how Odin was executed and all that
That's
stuff.
right.
Like that was a big
But
emotional scene. So it was a big. I thought the second episode of this batch was the best because it was like very information heavy and very emotional.
I don't know. I like the emotional parts in the third episode a lot.
Yeah, I'll agree with Ed here. The third one I felt was a lot better.
Okay. Any other general thoughts you guys want to bring up before we round off?
No, it's
Kaido again was neat.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, he looks so impressive. I can't wait to get to him.
Every time I see him, it's just like, oh yeah, that's right. We see Kaido now. He's not just a name.
Although this is really going to be the last time for a while, isn't it?
No, because there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's at least one scene with Kaido coming up.
Okay. No. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Right.
So does that do it, you guys? Do you think we're ready to move on to the next segment?
I think so.
All right. Thank you guys for coming once
sounds
again. Let's move on.
Today's episode of the One Piece podcast is sponsored by Right Stuf, whose holiday sale I assume is not still going on, but they still have a lot of other great sales that you could check out. Anyone looking forward to anything crazy? I mean, there's a lot of Miyazaki stuff out now to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Princess Mononoke. Anything you guys are going to be picking up?
Let me tell you something, Zach.
Yeah, okay, Alex.
Udon, not the noodle, but the entertainment company is having a great sale where you can buy all sorts of crazy crap by Udon, save up to 33% off all books, like any Capcom art book. If you like Street Fighter, this is basically what you want to do. I'll tell you that much.
There's also an Osamu Tezuka anime and manga character sketchbook in hardcover. That's like 25% off right now.
And in fact, one of the Capcom art books features your own Brian Newton.
Ooh,
Really?
I did
That's
not
right.
know that.
Cool.
Well, then you got to pick that up. Yeah, as I said before, all the Miyazaki titles are off a decent amount. Definitely check that out. It's the weekly special, so they're all off different amounts.
It sounds like something I should check out because there's so Miyazaki movies I still have not seen.
Yeah, like Castle in the Sky. We should watch that
I
tonight.
have not seen Castle in the Sky.
You should watch that tonight.
Like, I haven't seen... I'm just going to go through these. Like, Castle in the Sky. I haven't seen Castle in the Sky. I haven't seen Princess Mononoke.
What?
Wow.
Oh.
How? Can we fire him?
If we weren't
We can.
recording the podcast on January 9th, I would have seen if any theater nearby where I'm currently at was going to be playing it, and I would have gone to check it out.
Yeah, you could have seen it yesterday.
Yeah, but no, I was too busy,
Doing nothing.
I was tired.
Yeah, doing nothing. You'd be tired at a movie theater.
Yeah, I don't want to fall asleep during a movie. Like,
Yeah,
something
but Steve, if you'd gone to see it in the theaters, you would have missed out on the chance to buy it at rightstufanime.com.
Wow,
Hey,
exactly.
Wow, what a great idea.
Wow.
As a manga buyer, I purchase a lot of my manga at Right Stuf because, unlike Amazon and some other distributors, they do tend to ship them very snugly and protect your books, so you don't have to worry about getting bent corners or destroyed pages before you even get the thing you're trying to buy.
Percy, that's
let's talk
Ed's
about this.
job.
No. It's good. Other people recognize it.
Oh, I did not realize. I'm sorry.
No.
Ed is
The
said
more
it
pe- the
every
more
single
people-
week.
The more people who recognize the superior packaging, the better.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. It's me, One Piece Grandma. And did you know...
Hi, One Piece Grandma.
Hi, Steve. Hello, dears. Look, let me tell you something. One Piece is one of my favorite series, and there's no other better place to get One Piece manga than RightStuf.com.
Ed, we also are sponsored by the good people over at Patreon. At
Yes.
patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast, you too can be a patron and have your name read, or whatever you'd like, every month. Ed, who helps sponsor us this month?
Our patrons are a generous lot, and I will read their names now. First, Pharaoh Selite, Darren Smith, Daniel Montejo Jesus, Tariq Mahdi, Jacob Betker, Michael, Adriana Carbajal, Neil H., Andrew Bartlett, Oscar Eliason, The Spider-Man 360, Straw Hat Cyclist, Cody O'Brien, Kane Yin, Joseph Griffin, Huntress Fan, Shauna, KA_12, Justin Brown, Abdul Buta, Kate Charlanti, Jeff Ruberg, Moise Kokate, Drew Carmian, Fidencio Gonzalez, William T. Olowinski, Blair Mason, Vince, Chase Vonam, Saad Mer, Ahmed Mian, David Burgess. That part was in all caps. Kathleen Weidenhammer, Wandering Off, Rohan Acharya, Anthony Poloni, and Daniel Newman. And in case you haven't noticed, you can pretty much get me to read anything if you donate money and use it as your name on Patreon. I pretty much have to read it. So
please collect your diplomas one by one. Please single file.
Consider that when you're supporting us on Patreon.
Fantastic as usual, Ed.
Thanks.
So please check out rightstuf.com and check us out at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. We'll be having our Patreon exclusive episode a little bit later in the month, since we had the week off. We're a little bit behind schedule, but we'll have that to you soon. Anyway, ready to get back into the show?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
No.
Woohoo! Doing it anyway.
Hey everybody, we got a special segment for you. It's me, Steve, and I'm joined by Alex
Howdy.
and also Ed.
I'm here.
And we got some super cool dudes with us. We have, of course, Godswill, who we've talked to previously.
Hey.
And he's joined by two guys from Funimation. We have the new brand manager, Paul Frugier II.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
And we have Chris Hahn, also from Funimation. What's up, Chris?
Oh. Hello. I got the whole Funimation squad over here.
Yep, all three of you. The only
Welcome
three
to the
boys.
welcome to the podcast.
Yeah,
We're excited
sure.
to have you on and in promotion of the upcoming release of One Piece Film Gold.
Super excited. It's coming out this week.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And tomorrow, and I believe the showings Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and possibly next Tuesday as well, depending on your market.
Yep. So yeah, we're just kind of pushing the full dates because every theater is different. So January 10th through 17th. So any of those days it could pop up.
All right.
It's good to know.
Yeah. I'm just curious what it's been like there. I mean, I know it's no DBZ, it's no Battle of Gods Resurrection F, but it's still like a pretty big deal to us that One Piece is even getting theatrical release here in the States. And I'm curious how it's been down there in Flower Mound, how the preparation went leading into this.
Yeah, it's been a long decision and an ongoing conversations. It started a while ago. I mean, just with One Piece as a whole, I mean, it's all the different volumes of manga. I mean, the number one leading manga out there in terms of number of publishers that are out there, and also the almost 800 episodes. I mean, it's a staple for us here at Funimation. The main thing, we're excited to be able to bring this to fans here in the U.S. It came out in the summer in Japan and did amazing in the box office, and we were very privileged to work with Toei to be able to release it here in 2017. And the preparation has been awesome. I feel like it's like a rebirth for One Piece. Obviously it's not a DBZ, but it's still a staple show and a staple brand for us.
Yeah.
It's a very strong foundation for us. So it's almost like a rebirth to us. I mean, there's so many other things we have coming down the pipe leading from season 8, but I mean, I think this is a great segue to bring this anime to films for fans.
Yeah,
It's certainly a new phase of the anime, considering that you guys are dubbing. You're up to the time skip in the anime, so it's like with the film release and the possibility of the next season coming out soon. There's a whole lot of excitement going around with the English dub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just like what I was about to say, like I feel like this would be a good time for new people to get into the anime. Like if they are scared off by the 500 episodes that are dubbed, they can see this movie. It's a good jumping point where you don't have to know anything previously, and then you can watch it and then get into the 500 plus episodes that are already dubbed, and then get into the new era where everyone else is.
Yeah, it's a true standalone film, which I think is great. It's a action-packed heist. And Chris, what is the example that people have been referring to it as?
Yeah, people are referring to this film as basically Ocean's 11 meets One Piece.
Yeah.
It's like a huge, heist where they're going in and there's a lot of action, but also like a sneaky plan that's involved with it. So it's been a really cool story. And for me, as a person who was absolutely intimidated by the number of episodes of One Piece, when I watched this film, I was like, man, this totally made it feel so much easier for me to actually start watching the episodic series. And I would say I enjoyed it a lot. And if you're a fan, like, you definitely don't want to miss out on seeing this in theaters, because if you're a fan, this is like basically a really cool film that you could watch, and it's really made for the fans at the same time. But also, I think they've done a really good job making it where you can just jump right in and start the One Piece journey for yourself. And I keep hearing amazing things about the current arc right now for even the subtitle, where the subtitle episodes are, the Zoe arc. And so it's been an all around a really good time to release this film for not only the dub, but also the people who are watching the sub.
Yeah. And with the buzz around it, based on what I've heard, I actually don't know that much about the movie. I've been sort of saving myself to go in and watch it in the theater, sort of blind. But from the buzz I've heard about it, it's a lot more like the Strong World film that came out 5-6 years ago than it is like Film Z. Film Z required a lot of sort of knowledge of backstory of the show to really get the most out of it. But Strong World's just this really fun romp, and I think from what I've heard, One Piece Film Gold is a lot more like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like we have Funimation. Like some of us, we've all like a lot of us have seen it, right? But some of us have never seen any One Piece before, and then also you have your hardcore fans like myself. And everyone in the room enjoyed it. You know, from people who have never seen it to the hardcore people who know everything that's going on, from Awakened Hockey to the latest things that happen in Dressrosa, right? So I think it's fun for pretty much anybody who has seen any One Piece or heard of it or just wants a good anime movie to watch.
Yeah. And I think just the story in it itself is kind of cool. So it all stems off of the Heart of Gold special. Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats get an invitation to go visit this amazing glamoring city called Grand Tesoro. And so they go visit this city with chances of obviously winning the jackpot, hitting it big, and you ride. And the city is amazing. You know, it's a massive casino island like Vegas, basically on the ocean floor. And it's awesome. And so the Straw Hats, as usual, get a chance to try to win it big, win their heart's desire in terms of treasure, and obviously Gil Tesoro, who can manipulate gold. That's his power. Stops them. Or maybe not. You have to watch to see.
He loves gold. He loves gold.
Battle between these two powerhouses and kind of how the team's able to work together, and introduction of some new characters as well as some old characters as well. But it's an amazing film.
Right on. Now, we've heard from Godswill in the past when he was on our show as to what, with Chris and Paul, I was wondering what your guys' history was and how you got into anime and what your relationship is with One Piece in particular.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I definitely grew up in the time when Toonami was right on after school.
Oh, yeah.
And which was the best times of TV broadcast ever in my childhood times. I remember just running off the school bus, and you go right in, pop open a can of Sunkiss, because I was addicted to Sunkiss, and literally just be like, boom, let's watch it. And you've got like Zoid, Ball Z, Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha. You know, that's how I really got into it. And of course, at the time, they were also doing WB Kids on Saturday morning. So that's when they also started the Hedgehog, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Mucha Lucha, you know, like really, really fun shows to watch. And growing up with that, you know, like when I heard that Toonami was basically gone, I was super, super like sad. I mean, that I actually still have never returned to American television broadcast ever again.
Yeah, those were the dark ages, as I like to refer to them. Well, well, me, like it really hurt because this was around 2008. And Funimation had acquired One Piece at this point, and we're getting pretty deep in the Skypiea arc, and I'm loving every minute of it. And then that was canceled, and before you knew it, Toonami was gone. And dark ages. So I totally hear you there.
It was a bad 3 or 4 years there before I came back. In what, 2011, 2012?
I would say 2013.
Was it like the April Fools was the 2011?
Oh yeah. And Toonami. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I got into anime, and then when I had the opportunity with Funimation, it basically like was a resurgence for me to revisit anime and really get back into it, because I had seen some stuff. Like one of my favorite shows growing up was out of the Gundam Wings franchise was G Gundam, and so in college I kind of like had this desire, like, dude, I want to go watch this again. I watched the dub. I was like, what was I thinking? Like, oh my goodness, this dub is so cheesy. I was like, when I just go back and listen to all the dubs we listened to as kids, like that didn't affect me at all. I was so enamored by the content and just like what was happening on screen. But yeah, it kind of just was a resurgence for me, and so I really started watching so much more anime when I got the opportunity to be at Funimation. And like, one of the series that I really binge watched, and the only show I ever binge watched because I couldn't get myself to binge watch anything after that Toonami fell off, was Hunter x Hunter. And I watched all 148 episodes in a week and a half.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was so into it. It was amazing. And but yeah, like, just being at Funimation for the last 2 years, I've been watching a lot more anime. I'm currently watching like Kuroko's Basketball, which has been really, really awesome show to watch. But yeah, for me, that's where anime was as a kid, and then I kind of took some time away from it since I didn't really know how to access it. Didn't know how big it was for torrenting.
Yeah.
Anime. And then once I got to Funimation, like, I just started watching all over again, and even rewatched the entire Yu Yu Hakusho series again. So that's my background in the my passion for anime.
Yeah, it's funny as you mentioned all the stuff that was going on at Toonami. I was there because I used to work there, and I didn't experience that at all because I had access to all the shows. So my Toonami experience kept going. But I got into I guess anime and animation at a very young age. My dad used to do a lot of drawings and animations and stuff like that. And so we used to watch Speed Racer and all that kind of stuff kind of growing up. And then as I got older, I started watching shows that I was into, like Trigun and Blue Gender, and a huge animation fan in general. So I graduated from college in 2001, and within a year, 2002, I started working at Cartoon Network. And then I was fully immersed all throughout college. My friends and I were all watching like Dragon Ball Z because that was like its peak, its hype. We would run from class, jump in our dorm, and turn on DBZ. And then I remember this specifically. I got married in 2003, and I was working at Cartoon Network, and we were in the Cell Saga. And so I was very happy because we kept playing stuff over and over and over again. We left off the last bit of the battle, but I got to see the end of the battle for my honeymoon, and that made everything amazing, and it was perfect. But recently, I left Cartoon and joined the Funimation team. Very excited about the opportunity, and since I've been here, I've just immersed myself even further into the anime world with recently Drifters, My Hero, Tokyo Ghoul, Assassination's Classroom. I mean, there's so many that I've been able to kind of jump into. Sarah for the End. But it just kind of speaks to my background. I'm an animation junkie, but anime definitely is up there in the top ranks in terms of some of my favorite all time.
Right on. Steve, did you have anything?
I'd like to actually find out what you thought about One Piece when you first saw it, because I feel like everybody has a different beginning to One Piece and how they perceive it from an outsider's point of view. A lot of people take notice that the art is really wacky, stuff like that.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is gospel. Yeah. Just briefly over like how I went over it. Like when I started back in WB Kids, or no, not WB, it was Fox Kids. And back then when they had the Poor Kids version, and I actually liked it back then. I thought it was goofy, but I had fun with it. And then I watched it when I got to college, because like one of my I was in a fraternity like of nerds, and one of my yeah, right? No. I mean that's like pretty much the word, honestly. And like my big, his name is Nathaniel. He's like, "You're gonna watch One Piece. That's what we all are. We all watch One Piece in this family." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "I used to watch it. I finished it." And he made me watch it, and I was like, "Oh, this is way different from what I remembered," because I didn't even know that 4Kids version was different from the Funimation version. And then I just kept watching it, and at first I was resistant at first. I was just like, I already seen it. I need to watch it. I feel like it's so
poor thing.
I know, right? I know, right? And then I was like, why is he smoking? He's supposed to be eating a lollipop or whatever. And where's the rap?
Yeah, that's the one thing that people think is missing from One Piece, the rap.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the whole rap, and then it just stuck with me, like the whole new show. And then when I got to Skype, that's when I latched on into it for myself. just kept watching. I eventually binged, and then I just couldn't stop. And I remember like watching Marineford during my final exams. Like I was studying for final exams, like biology class, and then I was just like, I need a One Piece break, and I just kept watching, and eventually caught up to it myself and fell in love. Then started reading the manga because I was like, well, gotta keep on going, and here I am, caught up and trying to get other people into One Piece.
Far out. How about Paul or Chris, if you had any prior experience to One Piece before coming on?
Well, since I worked at Cartoon Network Adult Swim, I had experience of seeing One Piece, but I never actually kind of dove into it. It looked very similar to kind of DBZ for me, but I was very intimidated by the number of episodes, and I don't know, Luffy kind of threw me off. He looked kind of goofy, and I was like, he's just kind of stretching around places, and I'm just like, I don't know that that's really for me, but since I've been here, I've actually kind of I have not watched all the episodes. I feel bad. I went on Wikipedia and read all the synopsis for all the
Shame.
different like arcs because I was like, there's no way unless they pay me for a year to sit down and watch it. But I watched all the movies, and that's really kind of what got me into it. And I think that's kind of why I'm very excited about One Piece Film Gold, because I think the movies kind of sum up. You get to see the relationships between the Straw Hats and the villains, and there's so much. I'm an action junkie too, but there's tons of action, but the comedy kind of helps everything kind of work kind of together. So that was my initial.
Kind of get the best of all aspects of One Piece.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so then this release must have a little bit of like sentimental value for you, since you kind of got into the series through the movies, so it's like, here we are again with the latest one. So, but you gotta catch up. You gotta check out the real deal, the real
deal. It seems worth it. Like I said, if I have the time, I will make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe I like challenges. Maybe if someone challenges me.
Hey, Paul, you should do it. I challenge you to do it.
What's the prize?
You watch an amazing series. That's the prize.
Yeah, the prize is like falling in love with your first love all over again.
For me, getting into One Piece, I am still intimidated by that number. Like I'm just like, I can go through. I'm like, because I'm not a type to really like binge watch. Until like I binge watched Hunter x Hunter like 2 months ago, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is what binge watching's like. But me watching Film Gold and then Strong World, I think those two movies definitely helped me feel so much better about One Piece, and not be so intimidated as much, because it's really, it's better to consume something at like 2 hour length, and you just feel a lot more confident about watching something like that. But I really did enjoy the character development, along with the action and the comedy that it carries within the movie. So like, I'm not gonna lie, like Film Gold, and me just not a person who ever was even exposed to the episodic series, like I was just like, wow, this is done really well. Like, and Toei just freaking did an amazing job with the animation too.
Yeah.
They really went to next level with this movie, and so I was really impressed by it. And then of course, me being here at Funimation for almost 2 years and working with Josh previously, who was at Funimation, and just kind of gaining my knowledge through One Piece. I always come to God's Will, and there's another girl here who knows all of One Piece, and she binge watched like the entire thing in like 4 or 5 months.
That's crazy.
And just like having access to two people who just know it so well has really helped me understand like not only the story, but like their appreciation for it. And like every time I have any One Piece question, I know I can confidently ask these two people, and they can help me through that. But it's been very amazing to just see people's passion for it. And even when I go to like anime conventions and I bump into One Piece fans, like, man, like they all just like, yeah, dude, like this is my favorite arc. And they just like, I'm just like, you guys are totally at the level of family when you watched almost 800 episodes. Like, it doesn't even matter what their name is, what they look like. As soon as you said I'm caught up with One Piece and you're there, like, don't matter. They're like One Piece family.
You could say we're Nakama.
Nakama means friends or family.
But yeah, so been amazing to just see the passions from the fans and to even see like the cosplay stuff that I see for One Piece, and it just seems like it is always growing. The fan base is always growing, regardless of what the number of episodes are. And definitely, Film Gold has influenced me and encouraged me to pick up the episodic series. And it's funny because I've had to know so much like in the middle part of it. Like I kind of started gaining my knowledge for it, like in the 350 episodes and on. Like I had to do this whole A&N thing one time, and it was like the top 10 like saddest moments of One Piece. So like all that stuff has kind of already been spoiled for me. But because I had to know that kind of knowledge and kind of get it spoiled for me. But yeah, like, man, I can tell you the character development is probably one of the best things that One Piece has going for them. They did an amazing job in Film Gold too, and I'm just like, wow, very, very much impressed by Toei. Nichiro.
And actually, what you were mentioning before about the effort and all the cosplay that goes on with One Piece these days, to the point where that really wasn't the case when we started doing the show. Around 2009 is just maybe a year and a half, maybe after Funimation started releasing One Piece. You'd go to a convention, you'd see maybe 3 or 4 One Piece cosplayers, mid-sized convention, a few thousand people. You'd see a few One Piece cosplayers, but they're everywhere these days, and like it's really remarkable how much a good adaptation can really really propel a fandom here,
or just the right representation. Because as much as you could have enjoyed that original dub back in the day, did a lot more harm than good. And it's a good time to be a One Piece fan with it being so accessible. And the fact it's going to be in freaking American theaters it still blows my mind.
Yeah.
So
you guys did a premiere event with legit celebrities out in Los Angeles last week, and one of our podcast guys, Brian Newton, was there with at the premiere, and it's crazy. It's great.
What a time to be alive, right?
Yeah, the premiere was great. I mean, we got a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement. It was hard trying to plan the time because obviously we were on holiday time, so we wanted to make sure that everyone could attend that needed to be there. But everyone kind of just jumped in full swing, and everyone's saying it's probably one of our best premieres that we've had. We had representative Jamie Lee Curtis was there. We had some amazing cosplayers that were there. And then I think the cool thing about the film, everyone was excited. They went in to see the film, and then when they came out, the entire area was turned into kind of a casino hall, because the entire film is about actually going to a casino. So they had craps, roulette, blackjack, and I mean just the vibe and everything around it was pretty hype. And we've seen nothing but great and positive response kind of across the board. We even had some poker chips that we created just for the film. So it's been pretty cool.
Just really rubbing it in. I've been out of town, so I wasn't able to attend. And I was just like, damn. And I know the Facebook page posted some pictures from it. I was checking those out earlier, and I saw all the craps tables and stuff. And I was like, man, that's...
Man, I really want to play craps. Everybody makes it look so fun and easy.
Including the Straw Hats. And you can see them have fun playing craps in One Piece Film Gold.
In theaters tomorrow.
Yeah. Or now.
Or depending on their time, I guess.
Now, Paul, another thing I want to ask, and we know the deal. We can't ask too much, but if there's any indication or hints on what may be coming this year, I know we did see some footage on a local news channel of some dubbing of the Heart of Gold special. I'm curious if you could shed some light on anything going on with the One Piece, with the future episodes or specials this year.
One Piece Film Gold is amazing. Got to see One Piece Film Gold.
There you go.
There it
is.
I got you. Wink.
I wish I could share. Just know, like I said, we as I mentioned, I really believe 2017 is the rebirth for One Piece Film Gold. Just with the film launching this year, we have a lot of great and fun things planned for this year for all One Piece fans, whether you're just jumping in or whether you're like you guys. I call you guys, I guess you guys are like family.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody this year. So just stay tuned and keep supporting Funimation and Toei as we strive to put as much One Piece content out here for you guys as we possibly can.
Yeah, and of course, if you weren't already aware, we have the simulcast of new episodes. That's every Saturday. And of course, our buddies at Viz keep publishing the manga and Shonen Jump. And and One Piece isn't ending anytime soon. So.
Yep. So there's plenty of time and plenty of places to get your One Piece fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, have you guys? Are you guys going to go see the film?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
I've bought 2 tickets for Tuesday and Saturday. So.
Okay.
I
Where are you guys going to go see? Where are you guys going?
It's downtown. I think it's the AMC River East here in Chicago tomorrow with YouTuber Rogers Base. I'll be there with him. And then again on Saturday, I'm not sure if we didn't have a meetup plan, but I'll be in Rosemont at the Movie Co. movie theater on Saturday for that show as well. So people are welcome to come say hi to me.
Now, I'm from LA, but I've been out of town because I was at a convention, and I'm staying with Alex here in the Maryland, D.C. area, and I figured might as well just stick around for a couple more days so we could go see it at the East Street Cinema.
That's right, East Street Cinema in downtown DC. It's a great place. You can get booze if you need.
Always need it.
Well, not always.
It helps, though.
But yeah, East Street's a great venue. We're going to be there tomorrow, Tuesday, for the 7:00 show, and I think at least Steve is planning on coming a little bit early to chat One Piece with anybody who wants to come and say hi.
Anybody, even the people that aren't into it, I'll be I'll get on my soapbox with Volume 1 and I'll be reading it just to see if I can convert anybody. Yeah, and I do know once I return back to LA, I think I'll be seeing it at the Burbank 16 AMC this coming Thursday. So if you happen to be in the area and you're probably seeing it again like I am, go check it out with me again. And I'll probably try to get it. I wouldn't be surprised if I try to get in a third viewing of this because, like I said, it's in American theaters. I think I'm just going to revel in that as much as I can.
You guys inspired me to want to go see it multiple times in theaters. Like I already seen it before, but I might have to go buy myself another ticket.
Yeah, just take anybody.
Take your grandma.
Take your grandma.
She'll love it. She'll be like, "Oh, that's nice."
Which one's Luffy again?
That's the main character, One Piece, right?
I like this One Piece grandma we got going on here.
Yeah. My favorite character is One Piece.
She's not going to remember any of this in another couple of years. Thank you, One Piece grandma.
You're welcome. I'm going to go over here and maybe die.
Don't do that.
Don't die yet. You
Don't.
gotta see it in theaters.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll hold on a little bit longer.
Yeah, for at least 2 or 3
Watch
showings.
the end of it.
Well, it's another 10 years. That's asking a lot for One Piece grandma.
That's exactly what we need, Grandma.
Wow, what a segment we had there. Is there anything else you want to ask, Ed? Anything else you guys might want to add?
Yeah, I think for us, so none of us have seen it on the big screen yet either. So we have an event here in Texas. It'll be in Richardson, Texas, the Alamo Draft House this Thursday.
Ooh.
For the 7:30 showing, but it's going to start at 7. We've got a couple voice actors who will be there with us. We have Stephanie Young, who plays Robin, Joe McDonald, who's the ADR director, Brina Palencia, who plays Chopper, and we have Ian Sinclair, who voices Brooke. So they'll be there. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of giveaways, posters, good premium T-shirts and stuff like that. So it should be a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
I'm super
You
excited.
may have picked the most fun 4 voice actors. We've met those guys a bunch of times, and those 4 in particular are just a really great, fun bunch of people to hang around.
And if you sit next to Ian, he probably won't shut up. So
You better do the lap.
I have much experience from watching Strong World next to that gentleman, and but it was a great time. It was a good time. So,
Plan to cosplay myself. I hadn't told you guys yet.
I think I might have an idea, but I might be wrong. Should I guess?
I mean, hey, like it's gonna be a super.
I guessed correctly. No, I remember when we first met you. I believe we had that conversation that you really wanted to cosplay Frankie, or maybe you had done it already. But
Yeah, I actually had done it before.
okay, yeah.
That's why some people are like, "You gotta do it again." I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna do it. So here we go. It's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. Happy to hear it.
Seeing that.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be cool.
All right, Paul, Chris, who are you guys dressing up as?
Who am I dressing up as? I don't know. I actually ain't thought about it. I've just been
If you get like a purple suit, I think you could pull Tesoro real
Guild
good.
Tesoro.
There we go.
All right.
That'd be
Let's
really
see.
cool.
We'll see what I can do.
All right.
Guys.
I do have the slick back here, boys. I have the glasses too. I got plenty of gold, man. Plenty of gold.
All right.
I think the other thing too I want to mention, just for fans, we also have Colleen Clickenbeard, who voices Luffy, is going to be out at Otakon Vegas. We did a contest that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, an amazing bunch of grand prize winners. Grand prize winner won a trip to Vegas, tickets to Otakon Vegas, chance to hang out with Colleen, and spending money. So that was pretty sweet. So the winner was just announced. So they'll be out there this weekend at Otakon Vegas. And then we also got some other at OhioCon.
Yeah, OhioCon.
OhioCon. We've got some more fun stuff planned out there for One Piece Film Gold. And just for the fans, we are doing a sale right now. All of our home video stuff is slashed. We slashed the prices. So again, for those of you who want to catch up, now's your chance at half the price.
Yeah, nothing gets easier than buying those collection sets. We got about 26 episodes per set. Yeah, it's the easy way, the nice little shortcut, but you get all the benefits. Yeah, that's a good pitch. I'm gonna go with that. I don't know. I'm not the one selling it. You guys are. I just have to recommend it. All right. I think that's going to do it, right, Ed?
Yeah. Thank you, Godswill, Paul, and Chris, for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Hey, feel free to come on anytime and chat One Piece with us and kick your feet up, enjoy a nice hot beverage, and maybe just maybe One Piece Grandma will show up with a nice plate of cookies.
I miss it already.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories and discuss why pudding really is evil. Man.
Evil!
But, Steven, I understand you have some Reddit questions for us.
Yeah, we'll start with Reddit. None Easy wishes us a happy new year and wants to know, do you think pudding might be the cause of Big Mom's eating disorder? Originally, that seemed like a big deal at the start of the arc, but we haven't seen much of it since. Perhaps she messed with her head to achieve something we don't know about yet. That seems pretty far-fetched to me.
Yeah, by eating disorder, you mean the disorder that she likes to eat a lot?
That's an eating
her hunger pangs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. The
scanslations
the croque
called it.
bush.
Yeah,
Croque and bush.
I forgot the scanslations called it an eating disorder.
No, that just seems like that's just a caricature for Big Mom. She's big. Yeah. She likes to eat.
And I was just to say that he wasn't with us for the Funimation segment, but Casey is back with us now.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
It's been a chaotic recording session.
I know. This is quite the Frankenstein podcast we have here.
Yeah.
Apple products.
I actually understand that reference.
We will move on to Hipster A, who unfortunately has a question for Zach, who has.
But he fortunately has a fantastic name. Do people keep changing their usernames every week to just stay current with our references?
I don't know.
Hipster Dere. That's all you, man. That was yours.
I think Hipster A has written in before. But
Okay.
Hipster, as a fellow engaged man, I want to know if the preparations for Sanji and Pudding's marriage have given you, Zach, any ideas for your own wedding. Personally, I'm just going to make sure my future big Meemaw-in-law gets as much cake as she wants.
It's always a good plan.
Actually, yeah, it's really tough being almost married. I'm Ray Romano all of a sudden. Okay, this isn't working out.
Well, thank you, Red Romano. I know you tried to fill in for Zach, but
It's okay. I'm gonna go write about sports over here.
thank you, Red Romano.
I'm guessing that right now Zach probably doesn't want any influences from Sanji and Pudding's marriage in his plans.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Well, I hope they get a bitchin' cake.
Just
That's
always
about-
always check your spouse to be for a third eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I really want this, for Zach's wedding, as much as I want to control his own wedding, I totally would want it to be One Piece themed, but there's no chance in hell that'll happen. You cannot. I don't think you'll be able to convince his fiance.
Oh, you just have to load the wedding playlist with a bunch of just opening 12 over and over. And
I was gonna be more sincere, say like, man, if we get like Bing Sake going in there, that'd be awesome. But that's us though. That's like
You're assuming any of us are invited.
Wow.
that would be pretty cold.
yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would. I'm sure we are.
Wouldn't that be the best though? If it turns out that's what did happen.
What, that we weren't invited?
Yeah. We kind of
That would be the worst.
It'd be one of the predictions we got right on the show.
It would be like we'd have an episode where like, well, Zach's getting married this week, but the show's still on because we got to do it in his stead.
During his wedding. Because he's like, no, you guys can't come. You have to record the podcast. I'm sorry. I don't think that really answered the question.
We all chipped in and got you this podcast.
we got you a little extra. We did a Patreon segment.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that didn't answer the question.
Was Zach's wedding the one that Shanks was going to in the desert?
That's pretty good.
Oh man.
All right. Nivers wants to know if each of these Straw Hats had a waifu from another anime series, who would their waifu be?
It's hard to say because with the Straw Hats, there's no romance between them.
Yeah, well, let's suspend disbelief for a second.
They have all these Canadian girlfriend and boyfriends.
I would think Zoro's would be Setsuna from Outlaw Star.
Yeah.
Good pull, right?
I was just gonna say this, and I realized the voice acting connection. But I was gonna say Usopp would have Android 18.
Oh, see, I thought you were gonna say Akane from Ranma.
So I'm not. Akane is the main girl.
Yeah,
played around.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or
oh god, yeah, the voice acting.
Or literally any other female from Ranma. But Akane is done by a Bellman's
Ocean
voice.
Group runs deep.
Yeah, that's right. It does.
Sanji would never get anything going. He's just too much of a mess.
Man.
Jeez.
What about Frankie?
Noble
Gundam from G Gundam.
I was actually thinking Major Kusanagi.
I was gonna say if we're doing voice actor related waifu things, then I guess Robin's would be Gendo Ikari because she played Ritsuko.
Yeah. or Champa from Dragon Ball Super.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
Ew, gross.
Because we all know the only thing you base your love on is voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
This is podcast. I mean, that's how it works.
No,
that's why you gotta watch out. That's why Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball has to be careful because her father-in-law, her son, her other son, the evil-looking version of her husband all sound exactly the same. So be careful.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's a voice acting joke. I'm sorry. That's right. What about Luffy though? Luffy is to me, I associate him as the most asexual of them all. So it's hard for me to see him in a relationship.
We'll just put him with another asexual character like Naruto, right?
Okay.
Just put him with attractive foods from other shows.
Yeah.
Put him with Chi-Chi too.
Or the entire cast of Fighting Foodons.
Was that an anime?
Yeah. Oh, what about Nami?
What about Nami?
Oh man, who's the richest person you can think of?
Kuno.
Scrooge McDuck.
She's basically.
What was that, Steven?
Scrooge.
Nami would be with Lupin. She's basically.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
No, then she'd probably just turn into Fujiko again.
Well, she is Fujiko basically.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yeah. Good pull, Steven.
What about Brooke?
She could do to be a little more like Fujiko, even.
Yeah. Brooke. Brooke is the one that's a tough one because you don't really see too many skeletal ladies.
Sally, the doll.
Oh, nice. Oh, I was actually thinking the main girl from Aeon Flux.
She is quite
she's practically
a skeleton.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And Chopper.
Well, Chopper. Kilala from Inuyasha.
Pronounce it one more time.
Kirara.
Kirara. Sure. I think we named them all.
There was a fox, right?
Yeah.
The fox.
How about Jinbei for extra credit?
The mermaid announcer. The mermaid announcer from Yu Yu
Joey
Hakusho.
from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
Good answer. Sorry, those
right.
those were mostly straight, so I'm sorry to all
Yeah,
those.
maybe we'll do another one later.
I'll be happy to be on the gay ships one next time we do that.
There we go. My name is Khan wants to know, why does Oda hate Sanji?
Okay, I think Greg explained this story, but does anyone remember what he's? I feel like I heard this from you, Alex, where I think Oda admitted at a Jump Festa that he's like, hey, Sanji's doing a little bit too many cool things. Like, that's kind of like Zoro's thing. Like, Zoro's supposed to be the badass. So I think he kind of realized that and had to humble Sanji. And I think this is what you said, Alex. I think you said, like, when Law came in, he kind of stole Sanji's thunder a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
the answer is favoritism.
Yeah, there it is. who really brings in the big bucks on the character poll? Well, it's not Sanji these days, so guess I gotta put him to the wayside for a bit.
That character poll was long after the rise of Law.
Well, I don't know, man.
Just go ahead, Steve.
No. That's it. That's all I could really answer that question. I don't know if anyone else has anything.
The night is darkest before the dawn. That's where we are right now. Yep. I guess we'll move on to Alba Waterhouse, who says, we got a Jimbus Ex Machina. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. And then there was a response, how is it a Deus Ex Machina? So I guess, do we think this is actually a Deus Ex Machina that Jinbei stepped into to save Luffy and Nami?
No, I don't think so.
They set up that he was there like ages ago. Like if we had no idea that he was in Whole Cake Island, then yeah, it kind of would be. But we'd just forgotten about him, I think, because it's been so long.
A Deus Ex Machina also implies that their situation with Opera was totally hopeless without Jinbei showing up. It's just better this way, that's all.
I guess the one thing that has not been explained, unless I'm just completely forgetting something, is what was his punishment? Like, that was the last time we saw him, right? Was the
spinning the wheel
of fortune? Yeah.
Right. I guess that's the ultimate question, but that's something we're probably going to find out shortly, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
By Whole Cake Island's end, we'll know whether or not that was a really punishable thing.
Yeah. Now, a Deus Ex Machina would be if Zeph showed up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like like somebody who has like no business at all being
or
there.
Geen.
Or Geen, yeah.
A friend of mine.
Yeah, all of Baratier just plows into the island.
That'd be pretty awesome, though. You gotta admit.
They're just in the little fish, the little side fish boat.
Hey, you didn't invite us to your wedding, you asshole.
I mentioned Geen because a good friend of mine, his name is Steve's friend Mike.
Steve's friend Mike.
Yeah, he's talked to me, like about like every chapter, and he's like, what do you think about Geen coming in? And I'm like, that's too much of an ass pull. And then he suggested, well, what if like Big Mom or Germa have people like staked out at like Baratier? Oh no, it would be Big Mom's crew. Say if they have someone staked out at Baratier.
They do.
Like, we're gonna kill everyone here if Sanji doesn't play along, and then what if Gin shows up to fight them off? He suggested that, and I thought that was kind of a cool.
Why would Gin go back to Baratier?
Because he owes them.
For what?
For first of all, owes it to Sanji for saving his life.
Yeah, but he knows that Sanji's not going to be there anymore, right? I mean, like, at that point, he's like, oh, well.
This is awkward.
Yeah.
No, I kind of think of it just as a, it's like I owe it to the restaurant that, raised, this kind cook, and if, someone like my old pirate crew ever showed up again and they couldn't fend them off, I'd want to help them. It's just a little theory.
Yeah, but it's like, why would this be happening in the background? I don't know. Sorry.
What else is Gin gonna do?
I would
get poisoned again.
I would
and
like
again and again and again.
Towards the end of this arc, I would like to see us cut back to the Baratier, just see how they're doing in real time. They don't have to show up at Whole Cake Island, but I would like to see the kind of cut away back to Baratier.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Kieo has 2 questions. As someone taking his girlfriend who knows nothing about One Piece besides my random outbursts about certain chapters, and that it's about pirates, what should I do to prepare her to see Film Gold this week? Also, you guys finally convinced me to pay for a Shonen Jump subscription, but all I read from there currently is One Piece. Do you have any recommendations for other good series in the magazine?
I always recommend My Hero Academia. That's always good.
Yeah. It's not too long so far, so it's relatively easy to catch up on.
MHA is also what I've jumped into after One Piece, so
it's very it's a sort of spiritual cousin,
Yeah.
It's the
very
rising
ascendant
star
at
of
the moment.
current
Yes.
Jump.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone else reading anything currently?
Steve did mention One Punch Man whenever it shows up, I guess. I honestly, One Piece is the only thing that I read, but
pretty much me too.
But I'd like to start My Hero Macadamia, which is what I've been calling it.
Sounds delicious.
I don't know, it's the kind of show that you sort of let it build up and you binge through a lot of chapters, or the manga as well. But yeah, that's how I went through it. I've left it off for like the last 2 months now.
I'd say that the manga is preferable in My Hero Academia's case, because even though the show is only currently 13 episodes long, the pacing still feels a little slower than just reading it would be. And the show really hasn't gotten to the stuff that makes My Hero Academia really good so far. So until season 2, just go ahead and read the manga.
Yeah. So anybody taking a +1 who is unprepared for Film Gold? That was the other question. How?
Film Gold, from the description of it, seems like actually a pretty good. It's not going to be not going to be completely lost if you've never been seen any One Piece before.
Yeah, but we do know there are going to be some cameos from some past characters and
present characters.
Yeah.
This is not going to answer your question about how to prepare somebody, but just in general with relationships, if someone loves you, they're going to begrudgingly tolerate some of these hobbies, and this is only going to be like a 90-minute movie. So
right.
I think usually with most One Piece movies, it always starts off, it introduces the villain, the intentions of them, the main plot, and then we cut to the Straw Hats, and there's like a cute little scene of all of them
brief introduction
on the ship, and it kind of introduces their quirks and their personalities real quick. And because I think we've suggested in the past that Strong World is a nice little movie to show people if they want to get into One Piece and they need like something in one sitting to convince them. So I'm pretty sure Film Gold is going to do just that.
Now, I invited people to the showing that we're going to tomorrow who have seen very little of One Piece, so we'll see what happens there. Like a friend of mine is just going because, I've seen a bit of One Piece. It's pretty cool. I'll go. So,
it's seen in a theater. It's an experience.
Yeah. I feel like I'm hoping that Film Gold is a good, kind of representative One Piece cinematic experience, if you want to call it that. Film Z was great, but I think we can all agree that it was also not necessarily that representative of a typical One Piece.
For sure.
And that was actually something that came up that I mentioned during our talk with the Funimation guys.
Mm-hmm. And while I like Strong World a lot, and it does definitely have the fun part down, I've always kind of felt like, just aesthetically speaking, that movie is I don't want to say it's a mess, but like it's very jumbled. Like there's just every scene, like they're all dressed up in different things, and like weird, bizarre stuff is happening. Even crazier than usual for One Piece. So I'm kind of hoping that with such a distinct setting that it's like aesthetically a bit more self-contained in this movie. But I guess we'll see. We'll talk about it soon once we've all seen the movie.
Yeah, I know a buddy of mine. I actually showed him Strong World, and that got him into One Piece. Like,
nice.
Yeah, so I think it definitely depends on who's coming with.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can watch Strong World and enjoy it without having seen any One Piece stuff, then you should be able to get into the series proper just fine.
Mm-hmm.
If they're into body horror and existential despair, show them Baron Matsuri.
Well, if they're just into like sick animation and just like a really cool looking movie, yeah. Show them that. But I would never recommend Baron Matsuri.
That is the very 100% the least One Piecey.
But Casey, wasn't that the first thing you ever saw?
Yes, and it worked on me. So.
Oh wow, nice.
You proved me wrong. I just realized that after I got done saying that statement. So I don't know.
It's really perfect for you.
My tastes skew a little stranger than most, though. So I'm a bad advice giver here.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on to Black Northwind, who wants to know, isn't it weird that after the time skip, we still haven't seen Garp, Kobe, and Helmeppo in the manga, not even in the Decks of the World cover stories? I find that suspicious.
Oh, yeah.
Suspicious.
We've seen them a lot in like the anime, though. Like, I think they first showed up in Film Z.
Film Z, and then there was like the special that came out at
Hand Island.
Was it Hand Island?
I think so, yeah.
I didn't see it, but I knew Kobe was in it.
I skimmed it.
Do you think maybe Oda's just saving Kobe for another reveal? Because like he's maybe the design has changed again since.
Yeah, he's suddenly grown 4 feet to fit in with the other admirals.
I mean, we'll probably see him at the Reverie.
Hopefully,
yeah, maybe that'll be
escorting an important person.
I mean, Kobe did grow up pretty fast, and how many months had passed from the end of
well, he trained and that's what happens when you train. You grow a couple feet, your nose changes shape completely. You don't need glasses anymore.
On which language track you're listening to,
right?
You start wearing goggles. It's just what it is.
You start wearing them on your head.
Yeah. Oh, I don't need these glasses. Maybe kind of I do.
He's got that sick bandana. Okay, we've talked this.
Liquid Gaimon asks, do you think Pudding just runs around editing random dicks into people's memories?
Like Fight Club.
Yeah. Yes, like Fight Club.
Absolutely.
Huh. That's weird. I could have sworn that I was visiting my parents last week, but for some reason a dick showed up for like a split second.
That's all I can think about anymore.
I think I'm gay now.
I feel like we got enough of a glimpse of Pudding's twisted side that she definitely has some like, oh, I'm the Joker. I'm twisted. I'm disturbed. To her,
the damage tattoo on my forehead.
Yes, exactly. I feel like
some people just want to make you think the world is burning.
Oh boy.
Any more Reddit?
Yeah, we got 2 more questions here that I have chosen. White Bear Beppo says, not my idea, but some people may think that Pudding shooting Reiju is contrived to reveal her true intentions. But what if Big Mom ordered her to shoot the candy jackets in order to see if it's effective on the Vinsmokes so they don't make a fool out of themselves when it doesn't during the wedding?
Now that's interesting.
I guess like as a test case.
I don't think those two things are necessarily both happening. Like testing the ammunition is important, but like it's not necessarily like, I think it probably is part of Big Mom's plan, but
I think we've established that she is vindictive enough on her own that I don't think she even needs an order from Big Mom to do such a thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I just saw it as like a big Bond moment, like a big Bond villain moment where she's like, yes, I'm evil, and let me tell you my plan, because I'm evil.
Classic villain trap.
So you expect me to walk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Well,
It'll be a very cheap funeral.
I feel like Oda probably really wanted to do like that kind of smash cut to Reiju being bloodied for no discernible reason thing, and just having a villain kind of arbitrarily shoot them seems like a reasonable enough thing for him to do.
It makes you a captive audience too.
Right.
Was it stated in a previous chapter why Reiju went off on her own again? Or was Joma just like, oh, we don't know? It's like, I don't know where she wandered off to. Because I want to know, like, what were the events leading up to her being shot? Like, I don't know.
We haven't found that out yet.
I don't know if it's going to be really that relevant. But I'm kind of curious why she was off on her own and what led to her being shot the first time. Because when we first saw her, she was alone and she was in, like, a hallway.
All bloody.
She's kind of like stumbling away. I feel like she was being trailed slowly behind, sort of being stalked by Pudding. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
hopefully
it may fit together better in retrospect. But
right.
Let's see. Lastly, Kushabish wants to know: is it possible that Pudding already altered Sanji's memories? If so, what do you think it was that she changed or removed from his memory? I can't yet find anything that would change the events of the story. Help me out.
It seems kind of... It's almost creating too many plot holes. Like, why would she do that when she just said she's, like, such a great actor? Like, what's the point of using those powers? Or what's the point of putting on a facade if she could just do that? So...
As long as there's not a double turn where Reiju is the real enemy and and she just implanted memories of her being good to him as a child, then I don't see it.
What if Pudding implanted memories inside of us, the reader? Like, this entire manga has been a lie.
It's all in a snow globe.
We're getting dangerously into the One Piece crew has been dead the whole time theory.
Yeah. I think it probably doesn't really matter. Like, theoretically, she could have done it like dozens of times already. The point is that Sanji didn't know before, and now he does know, and now we know. So, it's what happens from this point on.
I'm sure there's some crazy, weird limitation to her power too. There's always another side to every devil fruit.
Yeah, it's usually how it turns out. There always has to be some Achilles heel that they can take advantage of.
Yeah.
But that'll do it for Reddit.
Okay. Cool. I think that means it's time to Piece the Tweet. Yeah.
It's time for Piece the Tweet, where we read off anything that's hashtag Piece the Tweet.
Most of it, at least.
Good chunk.
Every now and then we get some random tweets that aren't relating to this podcast.
Or in English. That happens sometimes. But Munchie the Panda asks, it's been a while. Replace a sitcom cast with the Straw Hats. How does this change the show? Wow. Imagine the cast of Friends being a pirate crew? That'd be great.
I was, well, for starters, there'd be a lot more catchphrases.
Don't go there.
That's my soda.
Nakama, get off my ship!
Oh.
That's pretty much what would happen. And the cast would probably be a lot more beautiful, too.
It'd be a lot more episodic. Except for at the end of the season, there'd be a cliffhanger.
That's right.
Okay. This is just, there's cousin Frankie.
I'm a bad little boy.
If it's like Family Matters, one of the pirate crew members will go upstairs in one episode and then never be talked about again, which happened to one of the children on that show.
That's right.
Still strange.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, and same with that happened in Happy Days as well.
That's right.
Oh, and at some point, somebody's gonna have an altercation with another crew member, and instead of fighting it out for the going merry, they're just gonna draw a line in the middle of the ship. Like, you can stay on that side of the ship, and I'll stay on this side of the ship.
There would be an episode where Luffy has to pilot two ships at the same time, but can't tell either of them.
So I guess
he wears a different jacket.
in a worst case scenario, is Law going to be like Steve Urkel, where like once he's in the show, he's just going to slowly take it over until they can't do anything without him?
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. People are gonna wonder
Or
where's
it could be like
where's
Happy
Poochie.
Days where he's skiing over a bunch of sharks.
That's true.
Ed,
next question.
He jumps right over Jinbei.
Hey Ed,
It would have a great theme song.
Yeah, it'd be a One Piece rap.
Ed, there are actually some previous ones if you want to.
No, I'm going back. Poke Luffy 1 asks, with it being One Piece's 20th anniversary and last year it was Pokemon's 20th anniversary, which will end first?
One Piece.
One Piece, definitely, yeah, for sure.
We'll never stop the Pokemon. They have
no,
years.
no.
They got stories for years.
I got stories for years.
Like what kind of Pokemon stories, Ed?
About a crazy wedding or something else happens.
Tell us all about Pokemon, Ed. We don't know anything about it. Please tell us. Give us your Pokemon knowledge. All of it.
Pikachu. Moving on.
You just passed the test.
Matt Martin asks, love. Oh, it's more of a comment, but he loved that Brooke talks about Sanji's personality in this chapter. He was one of the few that saw his attempted sacrifice on Thriller Bark.
Yeah, that's true. I kept thinking about that.
I guess I didn't put that together. That Oda didn't reference it directly, but that is pretty cool.
And going back even farther here, this is one from like a week ago. But since we had the perfect person on to answer this question, Martin Linvid asks, imagine One Piece was written by Junji Ito and Uzumaki was written by Eiichiro Oda. What would be different?
Oh, man.
This is a very hard question. I think that if Ito wrote One Piece, Luffy's elastic powers would be way, way, way more disgusting. Like, I think that we would see the limits that his teeth and fingernails could stretch, for example.
I was just going to say teeth. Because I was
It would
like,
be kind of like the question from the Tiger Mask anime. I don't know if anyone watched that, but like dislocating your joints to stretch all over the place.
Oh, I'm just imagining the fingernails. Like, that is, yeah. Oh, God. Or just like, you do see he does the bone balloon technique, but it's really, really graphic and disgusting.
Yeah, no, you would see every bone distend. Like, it would be very grotesque.
Which One Piece character would find? Oh, I guess it would be Gaimon. Gaimon would find the hole just for him, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. He already has.
He already has.
We haven't seen the bottom of his. We haven't seen the bottom of his body. It might all be squished out and disgusting by now.
It probably is.
Ed, there's one question from a little while back I want to ask, just because I have Alex here. It's from Ichiban Kenshin. Mind if I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, if you guys were playing a One Piece D&D, what would each of your characters look like, and what would their names be? Now, I don't think we're going to be able to pull off all that, but a One Piece D&D.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of cool.
It does. Okay, so I was talking to Zach about this, and I'm thinking about running a game. We're not really sure what we're going to do about it yet, but I'm thinking about running a One Piece themed 5th ed game.
So is this trying to invent like One Piece characters within the D&D setting, or?
I'd say the One Piece world.
I would say, yeah, the One Piece world at this point. It's basically it's OC character Do Not Steal, but with D&D mechanics. Yeah, that's someone I'm reading from this question.
My character wears denim, and that gives him +4 dexterity.
Well, no, you have to roll for that. Okay. Actually,
I rolled.
No. You have to roll when you roll your character, then you find out their dex. Like you don't you don't. I'm sure that they have genes that give them +4 dex, but their base dex.
This is very strange because I'm very knowledgeable of this game and I know so much. It's just weird I'd make that mistake.
Oh yeah. So Steve played D&D for the first time the other day. It was pretty great.
But no,
I played for the first time a couple weeks ago. Hey.
Oh, awesome.
Cool. Yeah, it's just weird that we have this question. I didn't even realize that this was asked because Alex brought that up over the weekend. I thought that would be a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, I didn't want to announce it on the podcast yet because there's nothing set in stone.
I'm sorry. I figured maybe get the feelers out there.
No, yeah, who would be tweet at us who would be interested in listening to that. We'll figure it out.
Mine would be a fighter Okama Kenpo practitioner.
Already donezo. That's great. That's fantastic.
Donezo.
I kind of want to like roll a character who has 18 strength and like a 6 in agility, and I'd be one of those guys that has the huge torso and like Oda's little tiny legs.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah. I don't know, Steve. Did you have anything off the top of your head? Like you could be a long neck. We don't know what those are exactly quite yet. I mean, we kind of do, but
like Amand.
Be Amand. You could be Amando, Amand's twin brother.
OC, do not steal.
That's right. I see.
I figured that would
Oh yeah.
it'd be nice to get the feelers out there, see if people
See if it's worth our time.
Yeah.
A. Peterson 43 asks, 2016 year of Sanji, 2017 year of Jinbei.
I'm for it.
I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
Year of strawberry.
Hey, who knows? Whole Cake Island could turn into like a Water 7 Enies Lobby thing where it's like a three
thing
character arc saga, because when you think back, Water 7 Enies Lobby, it was Usopp, Frankie, Robin. This could go from Sanji to Jinbei, you never
to
know.
Brooke.
To Brooke, yes.
I feel so bad because it's like I'm sure that we're gonna get some seriously triumphant Sanji material before the end of this arc, but like it ended up, the year of Sanji was just him getting constantly shit on just the whole time.
It was basically the year of Luigi. Like it's here's the Millhouse of the group.
I don't know. It was highly effective because when I first came on here, I made no bones about how I wasn't really a big Sanji fan, but just watching him get destroyed by life all the time made me pity him enough that I like him again. So
and identify with him.
Yes,
as we all do.
Yeah.
Abigail Carbajal, Straw Hat Pirate 9, wants people to know that if you're going to be in Los Angeles at the City Walk on Tuesday for One Piece Film Gold, she will have Straw Hat pirate cookies to share with people.
Oh, nice.
So
I guess
you're
I'll
going
be
to
eating some.
All right. Yeah, and she has pictures, a picture of them attached to that tweet that she sent us. So check those out. Danny Newman, 3 Sword Style 83, asks, if you could edit a bad One Piece moment from your memory, what would it be?
Queen.
Oh wow, yeah.
Opening 12?
No, because it caught on for me eventually.
God.
I think it was just terribly placed, I would say.
Yeah, Queen, definitely. Queen is like, that particular chapter for me was like the one blemish of one of the blemishes, like the one blemish of an otherwise like great like fight, I think.
I 100%. I think I think the Frankie and Senor Pink was, because I really liked the Fukuro fight with Frankie, and I think this was like that fight turned to like to a 10, but that was just the one thing that kind of just made it weird for me.
For me, it would still be I would erase Pell being back. Like any little cameo that he's had since then. Like, nope, no, he died. He was the sacrificial hero who saved the day, and we all remember his sacrifice.
See, I thought you were going to talk. I thought yours was going to be Zoro, the Tashigi thing in Punk Hazard. Yeah, I remember that in particular. Like, rubbed you the wrong way.
For me, Sanji's post time skip training.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really bad move for something that I'd been kind to, characters of the LGBT persuasion before.
Yeah,
it was a very, very cheap shot.
Yeah, and it hasn't contributed to Sanji's growth in any way.
No. It hasn't aged too well. It's a shame because Sanji was, I think, I think he was probably the only character during the time skip period who's probably never going to have too many callbacks back to that. I mean, he learned all the recipes on how to make, all that powerful food, but I feel like that's just incorporated into what we already see Sanji doing all the time.
I mean, unless he, I don't know, comes out.
I'm waiting for him to fight in heels. I'll forgive it if this happens.
Oh my god,
that'd be amazing.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Sanji, you could be out of this wedding, but only if you could defeat me in a duel wearing high heels, and he'll secretly know, like, oh shit, I know how to. But
he's gonna have the most bomb runway walk.
Like there'll be that little bit of a, but if I do that, everyone's gonna laugh at me. But I could totally school Everyone.
Maybe that's the key to him finally kicking a woman.
Oh, the Beatles. I won't fight a woman. Oh, hi, it's me, Sajina. I'm gonna kick you now, because it's okay.
Probably not.
That's weird, yeah.
Yeah. Next one. Oh, we kind of answered this, but Cravat Sabotage says, did the year of Sanji affect your views on Sanji? Do you like him more or less?
I've always liked Sanji.
He's cool.
He's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I do like him more. He'd had a hard time since the time skip. And the time skip. But yeah, sort of him getting reuniting with his family has given him a lot of focus.
Yeah, I haven't really enjoyed Sanji since around Thriller Bark. Like Thriller Bark was the beginning of the end for me and Sanji.
Absalom dragged him down.
Yeah.
Like that was the worst. Like finding out that he wanted to have the peep fruit. Like I'm like, come on, don't. What are you doing? And then his fight sucked, and it was just all about that. And since then, he's just been the butt of every joke, and he's had like one or two really cool moments, but for the most part, it's been kind of insufferable, and which is a huge bummer because I loved Sanji like when he's first introduced, and for a long time he seemed to serve a purpose on the crew that wasn't the butt of a joke, and
he's a guy that's desperately needed to have an emotional beat. Like, because going back, like, they always show Baratier whenever they show, like, sad beats for every character, and Sanji's really lacked in one for a long time, so this is it, and I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
That's actually a super good point. I didn't think about it until you just mentioned it, but that's the heart of that. When you consider every other character, like even Zoro, I feel like doesn't need anything like that.
Like he's got Thriller Bark.
Yeah, like he's got his Thriller Bark moment, and
he's got Water 7 too. When with the discussion with Luffy and being a man, and stuff that.
Well, I mean, like what I think
the sadness.
Yeah, and being defeated by Mihawk, being completely humiliated by him, like straight up, and then vowing never to, lose again. I think that holds a lot of volume for a long time. And Sanji finally leaving Baratier, the one place that he's lived, his entire life. That's a really great moment. Don't get me wrong, but boy, he had a terrible childhood. Like Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more serious question, one more joke. But Grob Gob Glob Grob, normally seen on Reddit, this time on Twitter.
Well, that sounds like a One Piece podcast episode title.
It says, hey, One Piece podcast, which power-ups do you expect to see from the Straw Hats in Wano?
I think all of us are going to say for Zoro, it's going to be the be able to cut fire. Because that was hinted at in Impel Down.
Yeah.
Maybe
he'll have a top knot, too.
You think Usopp's gonna get any cool ninja weapons?
Yeah,
absolutely.
He used to fire shurikens at people, so I would love to see him get a ninja upgrade.
Kazuki Yao played a character called Ninja Man in an old Sentai show, so I'm curious to see if Frankie will get some sort of ninja ability.
Oh yeah, that was actually that was brought over to the US with Power Rangers.
Yeah, the
Ninjor.
The Ninjor. Yeah.
Ninjor, who?
Hello there, it's me, Ninjor.
Yeah,
that's how he sounded. Yeah.
That's right, which is how Kazuki Yao doesn't sound.
Yep. Now we really need a ninja character sound like. I don't. Anybody else? I feel like Frankie had his big fight in Dressrosa, so I don't see him getting much of an upgrade.
Brooke might get a new sword technique.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, if anything,
I think Robin's gonna have like a mental upgrade. Like she's gonna be with the people who beat the poneglyphs. Yeah. I think there's got to be something going on there. But finally, unless anyone else has something they want to say about that question.
Well, I mean, like besides cutting fire, I think we're just gonna get a whole crap ton of Zoro upgrades to begin with, or Zoro will finally crumble under his own hubris.
I would love that.
He's been way too cocky. Like ever since the time skip, it's been kind of insufferable. But like also kind of great. Yeah, like he got humbled like 2 major times during the first half of the story, and not a lot since then. But and it's made him really kind of an asshole to women, generally.
I really think this is gonna be a Zoro heavy arc.
God, I'm looking forward to it.
Let's hope so.
I mean, like,
It has to be.
I think to me, it's just like, well, I feel like Zoro has always had a lot of spotlight. He's never been out of it, but in terms of characterization, really hasn't had any since right before the time skip.
Yeah, development. He needs a little bit of it. I think.
Yeah, it's time.
I honestly think Robin needs a little bit more of it too.
Yeah.
I want to know what the fuck she did
Yeah.
over those 2 years. Like,
I like what you suggested earlier, Ed. That since the Kazuki clan wrote all those poneglyphs, I really hope she benefits a lot from going to Wano as well.
Yeah.
And I'll be very surprised if we don't get Tashigi talking about swords a lot in this arc. So
She's quite the nerd. It's pretty great, actually.
yeah, I think it'd be a pretty big disservice to that character if she didn't show up during Wano in some capacity.
Well, they're on their way to see Vegapunk, Smoker, and Tashigi, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's the
I
problem.
forgot about that.
Hey, maybe they already met Dr. Biggerpants.
it'll depend on how quickly Whole Cake Island resolves itself.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, last question. Loving Hyuk 0302 says, last panel of 851, a reference to Terrence T. D'Arby in JoJo Part 3?
And in case
Yes.
And that thanks to Frank Full Metal for also tweeting in a reference picture of that. So if you didn't watch JoJo, there's your answer to what the hell does that mean. I kind of thought that it's either that or Daniel Bryan thing, but I won't.
Oda is a member of Suzuki-gun, so who knows? But anyway, that's our piece together for this week.
Awesome.
Let's I guess we'll round off the show.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
あの大空に届くまで I believe 一つの明日
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 451 for the week of Monday, January 9th, 2017. I want to thank everyone here for taking over when I had to step out a little bit earlier. I'm sure nothing awful was said about me in any way. Anyway, want to give a big thanks also to Sam for doing a triple anime recap this week. We also had pieced together a manga recap of chapter 851, and I want to thank all the fine folks over at Funimation for coming on the show and talking with us today. So, I think we're going to have a pretty awesome year this year. Next week, we have Miles from Crunchyroll coming on. So that's going to be fun.
All right.
One of the weeks after that, we're going to have our villains rankings and a lot of other cool stuff coming down the line. We plan to do a lot of really cool stuff for the 20th anniversary.
And
of One Piece.
maybe after that, Joey and I can do our, and I think Alex too. We can do our rankings.
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, we missed that.
No, that's gonna be on the same episode whenever that comes out. We recorded a 4-hour extravaganza or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was many hours.
It was many hours. And we'll add the hours of Ed, Joey, and Alex talking about their rankings. So
I don't think we have to do it necessarily for that long.
Why not? Why not, Ed?
Because I'd like to listen to the episode too.
So why don't we go through how the good people can contact us out there? Casey, where could people contact you?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at Minovsky Article.
Steven?
You can follow me on Twitter if you like, at Translatosaurus. Feel free to ask me questions, but please, just because I've had a couple people do this recently, don't ask me to follow you back so that you can DM me your question or whatever. Just tweet it at me. I'll answer.
Wow.
Thanks.
People are trying to get close to Steven.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex?
It's very personal.
You can find me on all forms of social media, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, at dude! All one word. Please check out superartfight.com. Super Art Fight is doing the Polar Bear Plunge this year, so if you can donate money, that'd be great. We're over halfway our goal. I won't be pole lunging because I'm not that brave, but I'm definitely going to be making a donation of my own. And if you could contribute, that would be super great. superartfight.com.
Steve?
You can find me and follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Steve Yurko, all in one word. You can tweet me questions. I'll answer them. I'd like to, I'd like for you to get to know me a little bit better. Sorry, I have nothing to plug right now.
Okay, cool.
I would like to get to know you.
Yeah.
Oh, also, you should follow Toho Yaro on Twitter and listen to Toho Yaro. It's a great podcast that I do with Joey and Scott.
This always happens. You always plug Toho Yaro once it's my turn.
What about endless schmaltz and 20 minutes of bullshit and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we did do the Rogue One episode.
Yeah, so if you like Star Wars, check
I
that
did
out.
edit 2 episodes of Endless Schmaltz over the holiday break.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter to our viewers.
Hold on, did you guys do it in an Irish accent and call it Brogue One?
Oh, well, right now, hold on. I have to get in. I'm not.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I regret this immediately.
Oh, Luke, I'm your daughter.
Ed, where could the good people contact us?
So you are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Ed Rudy Fastizio, and if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw that I made some wild statements about watching the 100 greatest anime movies as listed by some website.
Yes, I laughed.
I have committed to this. I already own like 20 of them, and I went out and bought 2 more this week. So I'm gonna rewatch most of the ones that I've seen because I went and saw I've seen since the middle of December I've seen Ninja Scroll, Spirited Away, and Princess Mononoke again. So I've seen 3 of them just recently.
I'm doing that, except if there was a list for manga, I'm going to be trying to do that. I got my volume 1 of Summit of the Gods that I'm hoping to start reading through that.
I went out and bought 2 more of the list off the list this week. So I bought Panda and the Magic Serpent and Belladonna of Sadness. So Shot and Chaser on that one.
Boy.
Yeah.
You guys have purchased a lot of good stuff.
It's going to be interesting. So I'm going to hashtag that 100 anime movies or something. And yeah, maybe I'll make a spreadsheet. Zach can help me.
Oh,
Wait, Ed, have you seen Belladonna of Sadness?
No, I haven't.
I saw that in a theater a month ago.
Oh,
The movie's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's also now on Filmstruck for those of you who have that.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And since everyone else is kind of doing some sort of marathon, I'm open for suggestions on a marathon I should do.
Oh, watch The Wire.
I should watch The Wire.
We should watch The Wire.
You
Absolutely.
should. Definitely.
But I'm open to any other suggestions. Like I said, tweet me, ask me questions. I'm so lonely.
Yeah, tweet Steve that he should watch The Wire.
And as for the podcast is available at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. Support us monetarily. Patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. You can subscribe on SoundCloud. You can send us some Reddit questions. Reddit.com/r/OnePiecePodcast. Piece together there. You can subscribe on Google Play. And you can subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes or call us on our phone number, Zach.
Our phone number is 347-497-MAGI.
Machi.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
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 I also want to mention we are now on TuneIn. You could follow us there. You could listen to the latest episodes on there. That works on all your crazy Amazon Echo-ish devices as well. So please yell at your computer to play the One Piece podcast and enjoy. And before we go, I also want to mention one last little thing, and that is please see One Piece Film Gold in theaters this week through Tuesday only. So this is your chance. Go out there, watch One Piece in a movie theater for the first time in almost a decade, and enjoy. So until
it's in theaters until January 17th. You made it sound like it was only in theaters tomorrow.
No. Although, I mean, if they want to go
in my
that.
neighborhood, it is only tomorrow.
For some people, it is. So make sure to check your theaters and check your listings. And, if this does well, we'll see more One Piece films in theaters. So whenever those happen. But until next week, everyone, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And a Happy New Year.
New Year.
届くからある一つの世界へ Hey We share the good times We share the one world